The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Take advantage of Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's HVAC Black Friday specials and save up to $1,500 on a furnace and AC combo or $1,000 on a new boiler. Check out the hottest deals in town all through November at standardheating.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
So I used to, you're going to love this. Ready for this one? I used to be a state trooper. I was the worst state trooper you have ever seen in your... You know why? Because I would stop a car and then I'd forget why I stopped it. It was weird. I was just thinking about other stuff. I would forget why I stopped it just immediately. I would just walk up and go, hey, how's it going? Hey, do you know why I stopped you?
I need you to be honest with me.
I'm being honest with you, dude.
This is going to go a lot easier if you're honest.
And I will, yeah, dude.
Yeah? What are you on right now, man?
TikTok, what? Instagram, all of them. I'm on all of them.
I'm not talking about your ads. Drugs.
Sure, if you got some.
Step out of the car.
I couldn't be a cop here in Provo. I tell you that right now, it is too cold. I would never leave my warm police car. I get in behind like the worst criminal in town. I just get on the radio. Step out of your vehicle. He yelled back, oh, come up here and get me. All right, you can go.
All right, Meow. Hand over your license and registration. Hurry up, Meow. All right, Meow, where were we?
I'm sorry, are you saying meow?
Do I look like a cat to you, boy? I'm gonna have to give you a ticket on this. Not so funny, Meow, is it?
All right, here we go. Hold your ears, folks. Meow. It's showtime.
There you go. What a hell of a deal this is. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. And thank you so damn much for tuning us in this morning. What do we got going on, Cubby? An old friend will be swinging by.
It's been a while since we've had Lieutenant Gordon Shank on.
Minnesota State Patrol Lieutenant Gordon Shank.
So handsome, so knowledgeable.
Think he's going to be in uniform?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he always is.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever been out of uniform here.
Okay, cool.
I like when he wears his hat, though.
He's a professional.
That's my favorite. I've tried over the last, like 4 years now, 5 years. I've tried to let me wear his hat. That's not allowed.
No,
I don't think most people will let you wear their hat either, Ashley.
You look kind of licey.
They take their hat very seriously.
They do. They really do.
He's going to be stopping by the studio this morning, and it's more or less to say goodbye to us forever and ever.
I hate rejection.
We've enjoyed his visits over the years, and thankfully our listeners have as well. But he's given up, this is what I understand, and somebody can steer me in the right direction. He's given up his gig as the media relations guy. What's the exact title? Am I even close on that?
Well, public information officer, a lot of departments go with. I'm not sure if that's exactly what they call it in the patrol.
You know, we've enjoyed him stopping by, and our listeners call in and ask him, questions about what's legal, what's illegal. When I'm driving this, a lot of window tint, which has driven me crazy over the years. All the window tint questions, I go nuts with that. But, aside from popping by here and having laughs, he's the guy you see on television. He's the mouthpiece of the Minnesota State Patrol. One more time with that title, Josh. I lost it already. Special.
His current one or the one before?
The one he's got going where he talks to everybody.
Like I said, a lot of departments call it a public information officer.
Public information officer. He's given that gig up, and he's bringing in the person that's taken his place. Is that right?
That's right. He's an OnlyFans star now. You hear a lot of people transitioning into OnlyFans, and they're making big money. He made $1 million yesterday.
Yeah, half of that was me, too.
Well,
he and his wife probably can make some bucks on OnlyFans.
Most definitely.
She's equally, if not more attractive, even than Lieutenant Shank. By the way, I don't think I can even call him Lieutenant Shank anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
He got a promotion.
Oh, really? What's the next step on that ladder?
Is he a captain now?
Captain?
Yeah.
Because wasn't Roski a lieutenant and then he went to captain?
Yeah, Eric Roski was our previous, 2 times ago, state trooper.
Eric Roski.
Yeah.
Sure. I remember him. Gordon Shank certainly grabbed the attention of our female listeners over the years.
Do you remember what you thought of him at first?
I thought he had no chance.
Yeah.
To be.
You weren't a fan.
No. It's not the easiest thing in the world sometimes for some people to hop on live radio and jibber jabber back and forth. And his first couple appearances on the show, I thought this guy sucks.
I had to tell him, like, I had heard from so many troopers how funny and awesome he was. They're like, just give him a chance. He's warming up. Tell Nick to relax. He'll get there.
Don't tell him I said this. Or fair enough, tell him I said this. What do I care? We're never going to see him again. But after his first couple appearances on the show, Josh and I sat down and I said, we got to get rid of this guy. He doesn't say anything. This guy blows.
He was just shy at first.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear shy. But no, he ended up being a hell of a lot of fun over the last 4 or 5 years on the program. But from now on, if we want to talk about this and that with the Minnesota State Patrol, there'll be a new person playing that role. Do we know anything about the new? Is it going to be?
I know it's a woman.
It's a woman,
and I know she has. Cut her some slack. She's been a little nervous to come on the show.
I don't want nervous.
Well, they're afraid we're going to put him in a tough spot.
We would never do that.
Like, could a pregnant woman go in the sane lane on a freeway? And they say, well, no, it's one person. And you say, oh, so you don't believe life begins at conception?
Oh, my gosh.
You put them in a tough spot, and they're very uncomfortable, and then they don't want to come on again.
Remember that question.
Awful.
Let's run that by them later.
Just throw a hot topic at them right away.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. So you can be on your laptop while driving, but I can't? Are you above the law?
I love that bit.
But we've had a lot of troopers. We had Mark Peterson. Wasn't he our first one?
You know what?
Older gentleman, hilarious.
Yeah, let's give this a shot because this program's been on the air for a long time. I have vague memories of this Mark Peterson that you speak of.
I remember him being super funny. And do you remember why he left? It's an interesting story.
Wasn't he a big, tall, older cat with glasses?
Yep, that's the guy.
Why did he leave?
His son went into the military, and he wanted to serve with his son. So he went into the military with his son.
Whoa.
That's badass.
My dad didn't love me that much, and I don't love my kids that much.
No, absolutely.
This guy must have been 50 years old.
I would think so, unless he looked a lot older than he was.
Okay, let's go with that. Mark Peterson.
And then Matt Langer, who ended up becoming the chief of the State Patrol.
He's the boss. I think it's no secret that the higher profile that we provided him here on this program had something to do with him climbing. Now, I'm not joking. It's the same.
Really?
I'm not joking. I think that we gave him a lot of opportunity to land that. What's the title again?
Well, chief, or they have another name for it too, I think.
You're welcome, Langer. Okay.
And Langer, by the way, is secretly hilarious. He's very by the book. He's like the golden child.
But a very dry, monotone sense of humor.
Off air, he is very funny.
Okay, then Roski?
Eric Roski after that. Another awesome guy.
I think we called him Roski P. Coltrane. I was never terribly fond of that nickname. But anyway, and then we went after Roski. Where did we go from there?
I think it was Tiffany Amber Nielsen.
Yes,
God help us. It was Tiffany Amber Nielsen.
She used to come on some of our events.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen, we called her.
No, we called her Nielsen was her last name. And it was
Thiessen.
Tiffany Nielsen, but we added the Amber.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Why would we call it Tiffany Amber?
Yeah, we added the...
And then we went with Gordo.
Shank.
Gordo.
Yeah.
Wow.
A hell of a run.
And now we get to meet the next one.
Oh,
who is destined for great things.
Absolutely destined for great things. Okay.
As much as I love Shank, I'm kind of glad he's gone. Just a little bit.
I'm very glad he's gone.
And the only reason is I ate a giant pickle in front of him and some of his co-workers. And I'm still embarrassed, but every time I see him, I remember it. He saw me, and I was going for it with this thing.
Just for your sake, I was hoping that this wouldn't come up because I didn't want you to have to feel that continued embarrassment that I know you feel by this.
It wakes me up in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm. Josh, are you 100% sure that our new trooper friend wasn't there?
Yeah, lucky for me, it was all dudes.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Tell me this story again now. You were at a public event and you decided to eat a giant pickle?
Yeah, so when they moved for a couple of years there, when they had the car show at the state fair, right? I went out. I go to the car show every year. I love it. And so I was out there, and I see Shank, and of course I'm going to go say hi to the State Patrol. They always have a little area at the what do they call it? Car show. And I'm at the fair, so I grabbed a giant pickle on a stick.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And this sumbitch is, 8-10 inches.
It's huge.
Long,
girthy. And it's
3-4 inches wide.
And it's so heavy, I had to bring my mouth to the pickle.
Right.
And I was savoring that thing. I love pickles. I went for it, and I was very enthusiastic.
You're oblivious to what you're portraying.
I was engaged in conversation with some alpha males, and I like to be around those dudes. Maybe I could pick up something.
Pickles can be kind of juicy. At any point did you suck on the pickle?
Yeah,
you did. Yeah,
I had to get some of the juice off.
You don't have to explain to me pickle juice. Yeah, I get it.
Any coming down your chin or anything?
Don't use that word, but yes. At one point, I even got down on my knees. It was embarrassing. And then I've told the story before, but I started walking across the street after I was, we said goodbye.
Oh.
And I immediately realized what I had done.
It dawned on you.
And so I texted him and I said, I am sorry for what you saw at that pickle. Hopefully you didn't notice. And he's like, no, we all noticed. And we talked about it the second you walked away.
Aww.
We need, so what you're saying is a guy like Gordon Shank with that kind of information on you, we need him out of the spotlight.
Yeah, I can't be around him anymore.
We don't need him speaking to the media.
No, it's not his fault, obviously. It's my fault, but anytime I see him, he's associated with that memory now forever. And Wapple, you'll understand, it was kind of a big deal for me.
Kind of a big deal.
It really was.
I get it.
Here's the thing. If you've been listening to our program for years, number one, we appreciate it. And number two, you know that we've had this relationship with the State Patrol and had these various spokespeople coming in and out of our lives for years, and we've always had a good time. So out with Roski and in with this new individual, and we'll see how long it takes for things to start cooking with this new rep from the State Patrol. Like you said, maybe they're a little nervous, a little shy.
It'll be easy on her, everybody.
We'll do our best
try.
to we'll dial it back a little bit and not haze her too badly.
I'll break the tension by eating a giant pickle in front of her.
Well, you can do that. You can do that if you want.
I still say, Josh, you would have made a great cop.
I don't think so at all.
If you would have chosen that life, I still think you would have made a great cop.
Nah, I don't think so.
You've got the look.
I do.
Yeah, you just give me cop vibes. Not
So
in
I
a
look
bad
like a
way.
narc?
No. See, I'd sneak that in there. Not in a bad way, though.
I come from a cop family. I'm the outcast. That I certainly considered it. Considered the military, that kind of thing. For a short time, I also wanted to be a firefighter, but then I just thought about all the things those people see. And that'd be tough. I'm having trouble getting over the pickle. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine what folks in that profession have to deal with on a daily basis.
It's true.
Any of those that I mentioned.
I think you would have made a great cop. And here's the only thing that I think would have looked awkward if you would have become a cop. And now remember I'm not trying to, make fun of you or hurt you in any way. I am the best friend you've ever had, am I not?
Without a doubt.
And you mine. But picturing you with the state trooper outfit or even just a city cop outfit, the hat, that would all look right on you. You're an excellent driver. I could see you, pulling off the pit maneuvers and being an excellent lead man in a high-speed chase. You're patient. You're an understanding person. I can see you being the type of law enforcement officer that would give folks a break now and again and not be so harsh. Here's the one little thing about you that wouldn't look like a cop. Your slightly pigeon-toed walk.
Yeah, I'm pigeon-toed and duck-tailed. Or duck-toed, not duck-tailed. I have no hair.
I'm picturing you walking towards my car, after you've pulled me over. And if I had people in the car, I'd say, look at this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Because you've got just this slightly pigeon-toed walk.
I can also tell you, as somebody with epilepsy, those strobe lights would be a bad idea as well.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Why didn't you give him a ticket? Well, I passed out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I got yelled at once on a ride-along because the officer would be like, all right, should we give this person a ticket? I said no every time, and he blew up at me.
Just let this guy go.
Hey,
he seems nice.
You were speeding there. What's going on? I'm late for work. Oh, I understand. All right, take care.
I've been there.
Come on, just slow her down for us, would you?
So we've been talking about our upcoming guests this morning, Lieutenant Gordon Shank.
I'm really looking forward to it.
And this new member of the State Patrol, well, probably not new to the job by any stretch of the imagination, but taking Shank's role as the spokesperson for the State Patrol. We have questions coming in on her, Tonka Tig Welding Jesus. He says, I'll be the first to ask, is she hot? We don't know. We haven't met her before.
So she has been on television, but I haven't. I've just kind of listened to some of her press conferences. Wapple, did you see her?
Yeah.
Your silence says it all.
Why don't we stop, talking about appearance? That's very, what's the word I'm looking for, Josh? That's very shallow.
It is shallow. You're not
very
shallow.
I don't operate in that fashion.
No, we're not going to ask her to say kangaroo panties. We can't do that.
No, not straight out the gate.
The State Patrol does not like that kind of thing.
Here's Trash Trucker Jesus texting in saying that Josh would make a great bicycle cop.
That'd be adorable.
I don't have the calves.
You do have
Yeah.
great calves. Then he mentions Trash Trucker Jesus mentions that in his text. If you were a bicycle cop, then all the folks in the neighborhood could see your yoked calves.
I wouldn't mind running around on a Segway. And they get a lot of respect, obviously, those on a Segway.
Yeah, especially the ones that work at the mall,
yeah,
too. Yep.
Absolutely.
But back to Bike Cop, I could picture them rebooting Pacific Blue with you as the star, Josh.
I'm familiar with the name. I don't know I thought that was a surfing movie.
Mario Lopez was like a bike cop in that show.
The show was called what?
Pacific Blue.
Oh, I never saw it. Bike cops, mall cops. There's all kinds of cops. Mall cops aren't what they used to be.
Well, I'll tell you what. There are certain places where they are elite, and the Mall of America is one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Have you
definitely.
ever watched any of the documentaries on what the Mall of America? That's solid. And I'm not picking on any other mall. I don't know enough about them, but I can tell you that is revered as one of the best.
Oh, yeah, those guys are legit.
And you know what? They have a lot of cops there too. They've got a lot of plainclothes folks running around.
Yeah,
that is so badass.
Yeah. I mean, I don't go to a lot of malls, but it just seems to me. I can just tell you this much: when I was a young guy, you know who the mall cops were at my neighborhood mall? There were dudes that were a couple years older than me.
Oh.
When I was a high school kid, the mall cops at my neighborhood mall were guys that graduated a couple years ahead of me, and I used to go to beer and pot smoking parties with. You know what I mean? That's what it was. That's what it was. Seems like that's changed. I used to walk through the mall and go, "What, Donnie? You're in charge of the friggin' mall?" And then Donnie's like, "Remember that party we went to?" Yeah, I remember the party. That's what it used to be.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, they've had to step it up because of all the terrible things that go on nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people saying I couldn't be a cop because of the sunglasses thing. You're right.
For whatever reason, you just cannot look like a normal human being when you put on a pair of sunglasses.
Not at all.
It's the weirdest effing thing that there is about you. That is, I think, the weirdest thing about you. For whatever reason, your skull is not shaped right for any pair of sunglasses.
Also, I'd feel bad, Josh. I could picture you breaking up an underage drinking party. Kids holding a beer, and you grab it from them, and then you're holding the beer, and all the kids start laughing at you.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know how to hold a beer cool.
Look at that guy. He doesn't even know how to hold a beer. You're going to give us tickets?
It'd be bad. Somebody said I'd be a decent meter maid. Yeah, I could be okay. I'd end up probably, depending on the day.
The meter.
I'll add a couple bucks. That person.
Yeah. Josh spends his
put a smile on their day.
Just adding to people's meters.
Yeah. He's just got a huge pocket of quarters. Huge ticket book. He hasn't given anything out.
A couple quarters for you. A couple quarters for you.
Here's Ryder Mother Trucker Jesus texting into the program. He says when he was growing up, all the mall cops in his neighborhood were 87-year-old folks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Right. Like Nick said, either the real young ones or some real old ones. Folks, a lot of those older ones had retired and they were looking for something to do.
Also, the guys who graduated a couple years ahead of me and were kind of just your typical beer party, pot-smoking characters, if they didn't become mall cops, they became bouncers.
Oh. My dad was a bouncer back in the day.
So was my brother. I remember when we freshly turned 21, hitting all these different bars and running into the bouncer at the front door, and it was like, hey, dude, I remember you from high school. A lot of those guys became bouncers. Did your dad have any really great stories from his time as a bouncer? Because my brother's got some good stories.
Yeah, he's had plenty of them, and he tells me more and more the older I get.
Oh, sure.
And I look at my dad differently every time he tells me. I'm like, you are kind of terrifying.
Well, you can't share any of them with us? I mean, there's nothing that you can leave out names and places?
I guess he broke a guy's leg once.
He broke a guy's leg once?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Just in a typical beating?
Yep.
It's not good.
Did the guy have it coming?
Yes, yeah, they all had it coming. But my dad, he ran really hot when he was younger, too.
Yeah.
It surprises me because he sounds a lot like your brother, actually, Nick. The level of fights he got in.
Yeah, there was a lot of hell raising and hand throwing.
There was definitely a few clubs or establishments where they had a reputation where you just did not mess around. I mean, if you want to talk about just a regular business, you hear a casino and strip club, right? You don't mess around there.
Yep.
You're going to disappear somewhere. That's always the reputation.
My brother's got a few stories from his days as a bouncer. The one that comes to mind right now was kind of a trial by fire as to not specifically how to be a bouncer, but how his boss expected him and the other bouncers to operate when trouble started. He was brand new to the job for the most part. And there was a character in the bar that night who not only was running threats by everybody, but he also flashed a weapon. And, my brother remembers that his boss told him and everyone else on the bouncings, the security staff, if somebody presents a weapon, I want to make sure that person never comes back here. Do you know what I mean? And all of the security guys said, yeah, we know what you mean. I want to make sure if someone F's around like that in my establishment, they never want to come back here. And all the security guys said, okay, ready, break. Well, enough. I don't know, a few months went by, and then here comes this derelict into the bar, and he's running threats by everybody, and he flashes a weapon. So my brother and the rest of the security staff, they picked this guy up. They bounced him off the friggin' wall. They threw him down the hallway. They threw him out the front door. This guy was... The security guys handled their business, right? Guy was out the club. And all of the security guys kind of stood there like, well, our job is done. They look over their shoulder. There's the boss, and the boss says, you guys aren't done yet.
Oh, man, it's like a movie.
Yeah. And, they were ordered to make sure this dude remembered where he was thrown out of.
I've never been a part of that, but back when I was on the force, asset protection at Target, towing that thin red and khaki line as I did. I had a boss. His name was Andy. Awesome dude. One of the best bosses I've ever had. I loved working with this guy. So cool. He was great. And there was a dude that kept coming in, and he would take care of himself in the lingerie section, right?
Oh boy, that's not right.
That's not good.
And where you're supposed to do that?
Yeah, and he looked like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, right?
That was his regular routine.
Weekly.
You would catch him masturbating in the lingerie department.
And anybody who was new to the force, we'd have to tell him, hey, look out for this guy. Right? He likes to jerk off over there.
Oh.
That's his place. And so finally, my boss, he got so tired of dealing with the guy, he pulled him into the back alley, behind the store, and threatened him in such a Liam Neeson Taken manner. And I couldn't do it justice, but before I saw the movie Taken, it was the coolest speech I'd ever seen. The guy never came back. He never came back. He even recommended, why don't you go across the street to what was it? It was a Kmart.
Kmart.
Do it over there. No more. But yeah, it was the coolest threat. Didn't have to touch him. Didn't have to do anything. The
I'm
guy
jealous
never
of
came
people
back.
that are good
If
at that
I
kind of
see
stuff.
your penis again, I will cut it off. I will whack it off. And I will. No, of course, he wouldn't whack it off. So there you go.
Oh, the penis thing reminds me of a brief scene from Family Guy on Sunday.
Family Guy on... There are still fresh episodes of Family Guy?
Yeah. Yep.
I haven't watched it in years.
Unfortunately, you're not missing much.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You kind of mailed it in at this point.
It hasn't been good lately?
No. I mean, it's kind of moments, like South Park, right? There's moments. But I was telling Dana off air yesterday, at this point, I kind of think Seth MacFarlane shows up, reads whatever lines are in front of him, and goes home. Like I think he's been done with that show. That's just my personal opinion. I think he's been done.
He's got plenty of money in other projects.
Oh, yeah, and he's so talented. I think that if he really was putting a ton of effort into this, then it would be better. But this scene cracked me up, and I thought maybe you'd think it was funny, too. This is Stewie, the baby, talking to Brian, the dog.
If something should happen to one or both of us, I'd regret not having said this, so I'm just going to say it. You have a nice penis. I see it a lot. I don't say anything, but it's nice. Now, you say something nice about my penis.
It reminded me of you and I at the end of the world. I could see myself saying, hey, listen, things don't look good. It's the apocalypse. We're about to die. I got to get it out here. You have a great penis.
I tell you what, I don't think you're that far off. There aren't many things that have been left unsaid amongst the two of us.
Right.
There really haven't been. We are very close pals, and we talk about just about everything. But yet, if it was the end of time, we might cover a couple of things that we haven't covered yet. We might have a quick conversation about a couple of things that we haven't covered yet. Well, there you go.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, because this is topical. OG's Jesus said, Seth MacFarlane hasn't run the show since season 6. He just does the voices. I was not aware of that.
I didn't know that.
Well, Family Guy sure has brought me a lot of laughs over the years. I haven't watched it in a long time.
I'd say it's worth watching it just for that scene with Stewie and Brian. That's a good one. That got me.
Good for them that they're still pumping out fresh shows. Also this morning, I think around 8 o'clock, we're going to talk with Marcus Foligno of the Minnesota Wild. 8 o'clock?
I don't think you're pronouncing that correctly.
We had a stretch of appearances where he was coming on at 8:30. Now it's going to be 8 o'clock. Every couple of weeks we talk to Mark Foligno. They got a win last night on the road. He's a nice guy. And some of my lady friends have suddenly taken an interest in our program.
Gosh, he is gorgeous.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude, that's for sure.
I want to touch his hair.
Don't go touching anybody's hair.
Yeah, we're just getting to know him.
First a hat, now a hair.
Marco.
You got a thing for head.
Yeah, I guess so.
Foligno will be joining us. Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver, too, around 7:30. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Did you know that Standard Heating has over 700 years of combined experience in the heating business? Now that's a lot of brain power. Hi, Corey here. As the call center manager at Standard, I'm proud to be able to work for a company that provides top solutions and experiences for our customers. Ashley, tell us more.
Take advantage of Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's HVAC Black Friday specials and save up to $1,500 on a furnace and AC combo or $1,000 on a new boiler. Check out the hottest deals in town all through November at standardheating.com.
Get an inside look at Hollywood with Michael Rosenbaum.
Let's get into the fascinating, wonderful Bonnie Wright.
Oh, yeah. Ralph Fiennes was the most chilling actor to work around.
He wasn't funny and making jokes.
No. A little bit, but in, Voldemort way.
Did you feel like he got very little direction? They let him do what he was just doing?
I'm sure he was probably the type of actor that would go kind of quietly and speak to the director rather than
What am I doing wrong? What do you want me to do?
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Wherever you listen. Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Stupid news, sure. Absolutely wonderful, fantastic, terrific. Got a few stupid news stories ready to roll for you. Jesus balls. A one-on-one Wild West-style shootout cut loose in a town called Bellingham, Washington, a few days ago. A old-school Wild West shootout thanks to two morons. Thankfully, nobody took a bullet as far as I know. Also, bizarrely, after their little shoot-em-up, one of them tried to make their way out of town in a Batman costume. I think you're going to enjoy this. Here's the damn deal, Cubby. The local cops say that these two gunslinging numbskulls are old friends. They're 60-something years old. They live in the same apartment complex setup. And one day, one went to visit the other at his apartment. Isn't that nice? A little visit.
Yeah, that's what friends do.
Stop by.
So one of the dudes, we'll call him Donnie. Donnie stopped by his bro's apartment. That bro is named Thomas Paine.
Cool.
You're impressed by that?
The Paine, yeah.
Yeah, Thomas Paine. Yeah, that is cool. You're right. Anything Paine at the end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless your first name is Wiener.
Donnie swings by to see his pal, Thomas Paine. And according to the story, at one point or another, out of nowheres, Thomas Paine starts punching the living hell out of Donnie. Suddenly, Thomas is dishing out a whooping on Donnie. And where the hell did this come from? Donnie must have been thinking. So Donnie runs the hell out of there, back to his own apartment. Thomas Paine follows him over there and starts pounding on Donnie's door, hollering up and down. Donnie cracked his door open, and he sees Thomas out there at the bottom of a staircase with a gun. Thomas fires at Donnie, but he misses. The bullet tore a hole in the apartment door. Well, that's when Donnie had enough of this garbage. He ran into his apartment, and he loaded up his own six-shooter. And that's when the two of them put on a display of poor marksmanship there for a while. Bullets flying back and forth, nobody hit jack squat. And here's what you've been waiting on. Thomas effing Paine then went back to his apartment, changed into a Batman costume for some damn reason, and attempted to run out of town on foot. The local police, they see a 60-year-old man, beer belly swinging, running through town dressed as Batman. And they took his sad ass into custody. And there he sits. Thomas Paine is still at the local county jail. Just when you think you know somebody, you know what I mean? You swing by their apartment, what's going on? Kind of a thing, right? Next thing you know, the guy's tuning you up and he's shooting at you and he's dressed as Batman running around the neighborhood.
What would your reaction be if you were in jail, in the holding cell, and then they bring in a guy dressed as Batman?
Well, it'd be a little bit of whimsy.
Yeah, it'd be
Look
kind of
who
nice.
we have here.
How'd you catch the Caped Crusader?
Oh, yeah, I'd have some jokes.
This Batman is a little more out of shape than I'd normally expect.
I wonder which one of my pals is going to turn on me in that fashion when we get into our 60s. I hope it doesn't happen.
I mean, you say you wonder, yeah. Are you wondering between a few, or you just wonder if anyone would?
I got an idea. Got an idea which one of them might snap, start beating my ass upside down for no reason, shooting at me and dressing up like a Marvel comic or whatever series Batman comes from.
DC, come on.
I don't know the
My
gimmick.
God, that's embarrassing.
I don't know
you.
these things. And I'm not 9. This year, next stupid news story. It's got a headline to it. And the headline sounds like a joke from a Dave Chappelle stand-up routine, but it's not. It's a real news headline. It says here, a man got shot in Atlanta for not selling weed. I'm selling weed.
I don't know if I've ever been in a neighborhood that rough.
You probably have. You just didn't get the best of it while you were there. You know what I mean?
Could be.
It was a 20-year-old kid that took a bullet. He's recovering in a hospital. Summers. This nightmare took place last Friday at around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, broad daylight. So here's the story. The victim told the local cops that he was leaving an apartment complex when he was approached by a stranger who was asking if he could buy some of that marijuana. The victim told the dude he didn't deal drugs, and he kept on walking. And that's when the derelict scumbag pulled out a gun and demanded monies instead. The two scrapped a little bit, shots were fired, and the victim was hit upside the leg. And the shooter got away before police could arrive.
Oh, gosh darn it.
He got away. Let's call Batman.
I got scolded by a gentleman who asked if I had a cigarette once, and I didn't. I don't know if he thought I was lying or what, but he got really pissed off at me.
What happened here? You're just walking down the street?
Yeah, I was leaving Target Center, and a guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, man, can I bum a cigarette?" And it wasn't like I'm standing there smoking or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just said, "I'm sorry, I don't smoke. I don't have any." He got like super pissed off at me.
Be a lot cooler if you did, man.
Coming out of Target Center. It's always a problem when you're coming out of Target Center. So they say the investigation to this case is, how do you say, ongoing. How about that? Can you sell me some weed? I don't deal weed.
Or is it possible that's just what he told the cops?
Oh, maybe.
I was definitely not dealing weed. Hey, can you believe what this guy did?
I was not dealing weed so much that this guy shot me for not dealing weed.
Effing puke bags. Everywhere we turn, puke bags.
There's a lot of them, aren't there?
But that headline, man got shot in Atlanta for not selling weed, it reminds me of one of the greatest jokes in stand-up comedy history. And that is the baby selling weed on the street corner at 3 o'clock in the morning joke that Dave Chappelle told 15, 20 years ago. That's one of the hardest I've ever laughed while watching a stand-up comic when he told the baby selling weed at 3 o'clock in the morning on a street corner joke. I give him all the credit in the world for that one. So a guy wanted to buy a cigarette off you, and you said you didn't have any cigarettes.
Oh, he didn't want to buy. He wanted to bum one.
I'm sorry. I got lost there in my delivery. He wanted to borrow one of your cigarettes. You said I don't smoke, and there was trouble.
I was very polite about it. Yeah, he got pissed.
It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I look out the window. It was a f***ing baby standing on a corner. And the baby didn't even look scared. He was just standing there. I mean, it made me sad. Really. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to help the baby. I was like, I don't trust you either. I'm sorry. Click. Click. The old baby on the corner trick, eh? I'm not going to fall for that. Where's this limousine driver? You know, I start feeling bad. As time goes by, I start feeling worse. Like, man, what is wrong with me? What the hell's wrong? I'm scared of a baby. And this baby could be in trouble. He might need my help. I got to do something. But I wasn't going to get out the car. I'm serious, man. I just cracked the window a little bit. Hey, baby. Baby, go home, man. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. What the f*** are you doing up? The baby said, I'm selling weed. I said, oh. Stop selling weed, all right? You got your whole life ahead of you. He said, f*** you, I got kids to feed. I said, God.
I said, God damn.
Foreskin Chin Jesus had a guy at a gas station ask if he had $1 and then got mad and he had to tell him, hey, bro, you don't have $1 either. Why are you mad at me?
Good point.
Coming out of Target Center, me and a buddy years and years ago, we used to like to. I still enjoy this gimmick now and again. I like the dudes who are drumming on the how do you call it, 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah, same here.
Josh knows
some of them can make some different cool sounds out of it.
Yeah, I always stop and watch for a little bit.
Josh knows I used to be a drummer. I've considered many times maybe parking my ass outside of Target Field or Target Center after a game and just do that whole thing. but I've never had the balls to do it. So me and this buddy, we used to like to swing by and watch the bucket drummer guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then eventually me and this buddy, we got a really bad local television show going, and so we'd be bringing cameras around town. It didn't last very long. But we decided to put one of these guys on camera one night. So we were leaving Target Center. Wapple, I think we were leaving a WCW wrestling event.
Sick.
I believe that evening we were eyeballed by Larry Zbyszko, if that means anything to you. I have to be honest, I was quite nervous.
That's deep.
Because we put a camera in the face of Larry Zbyszko, and he did not want a camera in his face. And he eyeballed us. And I told my buddy, I said, back off. That's Larry Zbyszko. And my buddy said, I don't care about it. And then anyway. So after the event was over, we got our camera. And we pointed it, maybe you had to be there. We pointed it at one of these bucket drummer guys. And he's sweating bullets, just he's working his ass off, right? I had no idea what was going on there for a minute, and then I thought, hey, that's Animal.
And it was Animal doing a drum solo.
From Wapple's program, The Muppet Show. Anyway, so this guy's drumming his balls off on the bucket. I don't know why I'm having such trouble coming up with the word bucket. And my buddy, again, we got a live camera on the guy, and we're trying to get material for our TV show. And my buddy interrupts the guy and says, hey, hey, hey! And the drummer guy stops. And my buddy says, do you like porno? And the drummer guy looks at my buddy and he says, porno? Yeah! And he went right back to drumming.
Yeah. Yeah, porno? Yeah.
Larry Zbyszko's lucky he got out of there when he did.
Larry the legend.
Right, here we go. Speaking of puke bags, here's a cute and creative way to keep a puke bag thief from getting away. An auto shop scrapyard in Akron, Ohio. That sounds like I bet you the boys have a good time at the auto shop scrapyard in Akron, Ohio.
Oh, I watched a video of these guys, and they sure seemed to.
Did they look like they were having a good time?
Yeah, they had a good rapport, you might say.
Yeah, hell yeah, they do. They're just hanging around with autos and scrap. At this joint, they've been having problems with thieves. And one day here recently, they saw a thief in one of their cars on the lot. So one of the boys drove a forklift over. This guy's brilliant. He drove a forklift over, and he smooth lifted the car, I don't know, what would you say, 30 feet off the ground?
Well, maybe not quite that high, but it was up there, yeah.
I'm not good with estimating height and weight.
Maybe 8 to 10 feet?
Distance, okay. But he lifted the car up off the ground. So the bad guy couldn't jump out. They call 911, and they tell the operator that they have a thief stuck in a car up in the air on a forklift. Apparently the dispatcher laughed and said, that's wonderful. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. We'll get somebody out to you. When the cops arrived, they arrested the thief. He had a backpack on him with sawing tools. I'm not sure where they're going with this, but the next part of the story says they asked him what he was there to steal, and he replied, copper? To be honest, brother, not gonna lie. That's the end of the comment.
Copper.
Oh, I thought he meant copper, like cop.
Oh,
he was there to steal
Yeah, I was confused for you.
I read that 7 times, and it never dawned on me that he meant copper is that an element?
It's a liquid.
I thought he meant copper as in a nickname for cop.
No, they were talking about the metal.
6, 7 times I read that and thought, why is that highlighted in the story? That's
and why are we using phrases from 1947? Copper, you got me.
Copper, okay, copper, the thing that folks, whatever. Why do people steal that these days? It's worth a certain amount of money.
You sell it as
It's
scrapyard.
expensive.
I've heard the stories. Okay, well that puts a whole new paint job on that quote.
But you didn't mean not to. Jesus wants to know, Wapple, would you be willing to estimate the height in a percentage of how high up that car was?
Like 67.
67%? Not 67 point something?
No, 67.
This derelict bastard who tried to steal the car. This is upsetting. His name is Alexander Funk. I mean, with a name like that. Anyway, the employees believed that he had broken in to their joint a couple times before. He was charged with everything. He should be charged with having the coolest family name of all time.
It's a cool name. Got a couple cool names in Stupid News today.
I mean...
I have to hit the sarcasm horn. Yes, I thought the sarcasm was thick when I said copper was a metal, or excuse me, a liquid. I did clear up and say it was a metal, but people are saying it is not a liquid.
No way. I
You're
would have never
drunk.
guessed. Oh, my gosh.
I'm sorry. I was joking about that.
You could probably melt it down to liquid form.
That kind of stuff
You can with that, sure. Sure.
That kind of stuff is so beyond anything that I understand. There's no way I would have argued with that.
I was joking about Nick's lack of understanding of copper.
Yes. No one can argue. I mean, I have zero understanding of any of that stuff. And also, I thought this was cute. Alexander Funk, the kid who got busted trying to steal this car. I saw a video of when he was handcuffed. One of the cops says, "What's your name?" And he says brilliantly, "None of your business, bro." But here's the best part. The cop says, "Well, it is my business because I'm placing you under arrest." And he said, "For what?" I love that. It doesn't matter, some of these guys. It doesn't matter how obvious it is what you've just done. They're still going to, I don't even know what you're talking. I don't even know how I got here. Why are you arresting me? Come on. You are not brilliant and we are not stupid. But I love that. For what? That's good stuff. Unbelievable. Winter's on the way, by God. We're getting there.
It's felt like that a couple of days.
Apparently, it's already hit the morons in Russia pretty hard. But there must be a few people out there with a decent sense of humor, because I just read that snow penises have completely taken over one Russian city.
I love these.
And it's got some folks in the neighborhood angry. Weren't you just saying the other day, Josh, what is, you were just talking the other day about Russia's fourth largest city. What was the name of that city again? We were having a conversation off air about...
Fourth largest city?
About the top 10 largest cities in Russia. Don't you remember that conversation we were having?
No, not at all.
There was also a spirited debate, too. People were passionate about it.
Sorry, I don't remember that.
Russia's fourth largest city, a place called... I'll get there. Yekaterinburg.
There you go.
Yekaterinburg.
Used to summer there.
Yekaterinburg is Russia's fourth largest city. That's the town where they're getting plagued, is the word they use in this story. Plagued by snow sculptures of erect Russian penises.
That's why I'd like to winter there.
And some folks have been calling the cops to try to get this gimmick to stop.
They're good at it. I'll tell you that much. It reminds me of when we had our snow penis sculpture contest back in the day, and we were so impressed by the photos people were sending us. And you could tell some people really took it seriously and did a great job. And also, there's a couple that had women in bikinis posing with the penis.
That's incredible.
Even better.
There were some that Wapple might estimate would be at 87 to 92% high. It was crazy how good and big these were. And I got to say, there you go. I got to say, they're pretty talented in Russia at the snow penis.
Dude, the one on top of the car that's kind of small with the nuts in there too. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, good job.
With the nuts in there, too.
Yeah. So great.
I didn't see it, but Josh ain't kidding. Many, many years ago, we had a big snowstorm hit town, and we challenged our listening audience to create some snow penis sculptures, and it was brilliant.
That's so crazy because I still believe when you guys did that, my brother, one of his neighbors, had a huge snow penis in the front of his yard. And I'm pretty sure the times line up that penis was for you guys. And
Heard that before.
I remember, like, I was old enough to know, like, get the jokes, and all, like, the little kids were trying. My brother didn't like it, so he wanted, like, the kids to go over there and knock it down. And all of the kids were just, like, climbing on this thing and sliding down it. And I was like, what is happening?
There were a couple folks who built it in their garage for kind of that reason. They didn't want their neighbors to see a 6-foot snow penis.
That's smart.
We took the cities by storm for about a week, and I'm not no pun intended with that snow penis sculpture gimmick. Folks took days off work to create them. I mean, it was a beautiful thing. So anyway, here in Russia, Yekaterinburg, snow penis everywheres. They were first spotted outside a ballet there in town. And then another one, they saw another big old snowpecker out front one of the colleges that they have in Yekaterinburg. And the local news thinks it's the college students that are stacking these up on every corner. City workers are having to cruise around town to knock the snow wieners down. One of them must have been a real keeper, because it says here in the story they had to gas up an excavator to barrel the big bastard over.
I got to say, that'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it? If you're that's your job for the day, just going around knocking big penises over.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
The local mayor, a fella named something or another, Alexei Orlov, he's called the snow penises an outrage. Others are calling them offensive. They want the local cops to start making effing arrests. Effing Russians, man. They've never really been known for their personality and sense of humor, have they?
Not necessarily, no.
What's really funny to me is, from what I can understand from reading the story, the local cops don't seem to give a rat's ass. They're not jumping at the chance to arrest people over this.
I'm sure they got better stuff to do.
I have no idea what this means to anybody, but I don't even know what copper is. A petition appeared. There's a petition on change.org calling on the college students to stop sculpting snow wangs. What does that do for anybody?
I'm sure those kids are going to go, well, they reached their goal. I guess we got to stop making it.
It's on change.org. We lost, guys. We lost.
Maybe this winter we'll get a big pile of snow and we'll do it all over again, but I don't know. To me, I don't think that the gimmick would be greeted with the same enthusiasm as it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, not nowadays.
We'd get yelled at.
And we couldn't post the pictures online like we could back in the day.
They'd call us names and claim we were, insensitive and
there's
all whatever the latest terms are for this and that.
This person brings up a good point. I mean, obviously you have to commit, set aside some time to do this. They said, a 6-foot snow penis, that's got to take a schlong time to make.
Son of a bitch.
And the original toolmaker, Jesus, said more like change.organ.
Now, this here next story went and got me pissed off. I'm going to have a hard time holding it together for this here next stupid news story. You guys know how I feel about effing stupid, self-serving social media. It's ruined us. We don't know how to communicate with each other. Everyone is all up in each other's business. Everyone is hurtful, hateful. It's effing pathetic. Everyone's a star now. And what we can do for ourselves overrules anything and everything else. And here's a great example. Here's the story that pissed me off. Some poor bastard fell into a damn river over there in England. There he goes, into the drink. 30 foot deep. The sumbitch is drowning. Once he went in, a big crowd of people come a-running over to the river. Not a one of them even tries to help the guy. But they did, of course, pull out their cell phones to take videos, to take selfies, so they could load up their effing social media pages with pictures and videos.
Isn't that incredible? I mean, not one person thought, what if that was me or, a loved one or something like that?
Nothing. something like 30 people all standing and pointing their phones at this poor bastard who's crying out for help. That's who we are now. A spokesman for the local cops said, crowds gathered on a bridge and surrounding walkways, watching the man struggle to keep his head above water without any apparent attempt to throw him a life ring. There were 2 of them right there for situations just like this. Nobody bothered. They had to be running their friggin' cell phone.
That's awful. So sad.
What do we call them around here? Do we call them life rings? Why? It seems like I'm missing a term.
Life preserver?
Yeah, okay, I'll go with life preserver. Eventually, when the cops showed up, one of them tossed this guy a life preserver. He was rescued by the local fire department. They fired up the rescue boat, and he was given first aid by paramedics on the riverbank. He made it.
Later on, we're going to be joined by our trooper, Lieutenant Gordon Shank. Well, actually, I think now Captain Gordon Shank. And maybe we could ask him this question. You pick him up, you dropped him, Jesus said, did you know it's illegal here and you can be charged for not helping? I've heard that before. We'll have to ask him about that.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
Because if I jumped in the river after that guy, I'd be the first one to drown.
Well, here's the thing is I'm not a good swimmer either. And it's mentioned here in the story. One of the cops says, look, it's not a good idea to dive in there after the guy because you're likely going to drown too. But throw him a scarf, a rope. The life preservers are right there. Make a phone call. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that would have been relatively easy. Like you said, they got 2 of them right there. Somebody could have thrown it to them.
That's just so bizarre to me that all of those people, their first instinct was their phone. Because
that's not bizarre to me these days.
Well, and then someone, taking the selfie as well. Hey, look, this guy's dying right behind me. Can you believe what's going on?
Just because, I think of us 5, and, none of us would do that. At least I don't think so, that our first instinct would be to pull out our phone. So, out of 30 people, not one of them is a decent person.
Bendem and Sendem said there's a whole subreddit dedicated to this. It's called Don't Help, Just Film.
Check it out.
It angers me, doesn't surprise me in the least bit. We have become absolute morons who only care about ourselves. One local who witnessed this, Josh, he goes by the name of Timmy. He said, I was driving past and saw the commotion, and someone told us there was a guy in the water. There were people taking selfies with it all going on. I'm at a loss for words. Standing and watching doesn't achieve a damn thing. Following the incident, the local fire department put out a video about how to use a life preserver, and the public is being urged to watch it. And like I was saying a minute ago, they also said, we don't encourage you to jump on into the water because you could be swept away too. But there were several different things that folks could have done. Reached to him with a branch, a scarf, another item of clothing. Throw him the friggin' life preserver that's sitting right there. And there you go.
Yeah, we're getting, I guess, alternate texts on whether or not you're supposed to help someone. So we'll have to ask Shank about that. Or what you're required to do.
That would be a great question. Absolutely. Before we go, I've had enough of these adventures at the neighborhood thrift shop. This time somebody dumped off a real human skull at the local thrift shop in terrible Fort Myers, Florida. And it ended up in the Halloween aisle.
Oh. I would have snagged that.
I love the skeletons and skulls and stuff for Halloween. I don't think I could stomach having one that I know belonged to a human being.
You don't want a real one?
I mean, as cool as this thing looks, yeah, I'll pass.
One of the shoppers going down the Halloween aisle said, this is not a fake skull. This is a skull of a dead human being, for Christ's sake. Cops came and grabbed it up, sent it off to the medical examiner's office.
Dude was a forensic anthropologist.
What does that mean to be a forensic anthropologist?
So I think this one, analyzed human remains. So it just so happened that they were the right person to see it.
Do they work with copper?
They work with coppers.
Hey, copper! That's how I thought it was. Hey, copper.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Jim?
Okay. I am here with the Dallas Stars Ice Girls. Ladies, you're out tonight to watch some pickleball. Obviously, some decision-making goes on to where you're going to be sent. What brought you out to a pickleball event here today?
We are here to support the president of the Dallas Stars Foundation, Marty Turco.
All right. We're going to take it back to the court now.
Awkward. That's how you do a live interview right there.
I don't get it. Why'd you do that to them?
Why'd she do what to who?
Just like that awkward silence.
Well, I think she was expecting more.
Oh, okay.
She was expecting more, Ashley. Here's the deal.
Giving them an opportunity to continue.
Oh, to keep going, and they just
that
stopped.
was it.
Okay. I was like, why the heck would you do that to them?
Well, things happen like that. We're going to get into that a little bit later on this morning when we get Randy Shaver in the mix. There was a big pickleball tournament on ESPN last night, and that was a live interview from that wildly exciting pickleball tournament. Here's the deal. I got to get out of the way here quickly. In an hour, we'll be talking to Marcus Foligno of the Man Bear Pigs. They got a win last night on Long Island over the New York Islanders. We'll talk up and down with Marcus in about an hour. There was a special moment last night with Vinny Lettieri. I'm sure we'll get into that. The Wolves are back at home again tonight versus the New Orleans Pelicans. And that'll be at 7 o'clock on Bally Sports North. The Wolves coming off that big win over who the hell was it the other night?
Boston Celtics.
Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, and like I said, Marcus Foligno will be part of the mix when we come back with sports in about a half hour. But don't go anywheres because Josh's news report is on the way.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Did you know that Standard Heating has over 700 years of combined experience in the heating business? Now that's a lot of brain power. Hi, Corey here. As the call center manager at Standard, I'm proud to be able to work for a company that provides top solutions and experiences for our customers. Ashley, tell us more.
Take advantage of Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's HVAC Black Friday specials and save up to $1,500 on a furnace and AC combo or $1,000 on a new boiler. Check out the hottest deals in town all through November at standardheating.com.
It could be information to change your life forever. Or the Something You Should Know podcast could just be something interesting.
Herb Cohen is one of the all-time legendary great sales trainers and negotiators. And he has some advice that will help you negotiate better. Make the other person feel superior and smarter than you. Care, but don't care too much. If you don't like the deal, walk away and see if the deal doesn't get better instantly.
Something You Should Know, wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
I don't approve of drinking and driving, period, but certainly not with children in the car. That is so careless, and it could have turned out really bad.
A mother in Connecticut was arrested and charged with driving under the influence while she dropped her child off at middle school Monday. 33-year-old Christina Morissette was taken into custody shortly before noon when police were alerted to an intoxicated person at the school. Morissette allegedly pulled into the parent drop-off area and started behaving erratically while dropping off her child. She then failed multiple field sobriety tests and was charged with driving under the influence, which must have been a jagged little pill for Morissette to swallow.
You son of a bitch.
But you can't drive your kid to school drunk, and you ought to know that. The drunken mother was also charged with risk of injury to a minor.
I wonder how many times my folks dropped me off at school when they were drunk.
You really think they did?
Really?
Yeah.
From the night before, or did they just start that early?
I don't know.
Can they live, Ashley?
Well, yeah. I mean, go for it.
Can't they grown folks? Can't they live their lives?
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because, you live. You learn.
Don't do
You
it.
love. You learn.
Don't do that.
You cry. You learn.
Dude, you're bringing back horrible memories of the late 90s.
I loved that album. I'll be honest.
No,
I loved
you did
it. I did
not.
too. Jagged Little Pill. I loved it.
I'm with Josh on this one.
And Taylor Hawkins on drums on that tour was awesome.
Don't throw that my way. Now I can't say anything.
A mother was arrested after she allegedly attempted to hit a school staff member while in the student drop-off line at a Florida high school Thursday.
I wonder if my folks ever tried to punch any members of the school staff.
After 40-year-old Tara Jane Samuels Catalan dropped off her child, she tried to exit the parking lot the same way she entered it. That's when a school staff member stopped her and told her she couldn't leave that way because buses were coming in to unload students. Authorities said the interaction agitated the mother, who eventually backed up and turned her car around, leading the staff member to believe she was leaving the correct way. However, the mom allegedly turned her car toward the staff member, hit the gas, revved her engine, and drove right at him at high speeds. A press release stated the member was forced to dive into some bushes to avoid getting hit by her car. The pickup and drop-off lines at the schools are frustrating at times, but we absolutely will not cut corners on ensuring the safety of the students and staff. I'm glad that our victim here is uninjured, and I hope that this mother rethinks the example she's setting for her child, Sheriff Bill Prummel said. Investigators say witnesses who saw the incident unfold along with security footage aligned with the staff member's report. I've always said the pickup and drop-off line at school is the most dangerous place you can be. Parents drive like morons.
Parents get mad, too.
Haven't you seen some hot mamas, though, along the way?
So many hot mamas.
Yeah.
That can be distracting.
Yeah,
that can
I bet.
cause accidents.
Mm-hmm. Made any eye contact? A little winky wink?
No, I don't have the confidence.
Oh.
Do you ever see the moms that, like, you can tell they get all dolled up just for drop-off and pick-up?
I don't know. I just assume they're coming from work or on their way to work, depending on where you're dropping them off. But maybe it was just for that.
Hey, if you
I'm
see
too
the-
busy texting.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
smart.
gosh,
Yeah.
So
yes.
I don't see everything.
You're a multitasker. There's nothing wrong with that, Josh.
Dude, next time tell the hot mamas that me and Wapple said word up.
Hey, ma'am, I got a little hello from Wapple and Nick.
I can't help but notice you are a hot mama.
I said tell them word up.
Tell him I say sup.
A Kentucky teen is facing extensive time behind bars after being accused of trying to stab a cop in the face with a screwdriver.
I think he can do that.
Officer Bramer began his shift about 6:15 Saturday morning, unlocking a city park. While doing so, he saw 18-year-old Kenzie Van Arsdale in that park. She initially listened to the officer when he told her to come to the cruiser and ask for her information. However, as Bramer was taking her information, she took off. The officer chased after her, telling her to stop, which she eventually did. But as the officer attempted to handcuff her, the teen spun around with a screwdriver in a hand and struck Bramer in the face, 3 inches above his left eye.
Oh,
God dang.
A police spokesperson said the officer is expected to be okay. Van Arsdale scheduled to return to court at the end of the month.
I would not want to be stabbed by a screwdriver.
She kind of has the look of a teenager that would stab you in the face with a screwdriver.
You just kind of know it when you see it.
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
A Pittsburgh man told police a woman stabbed him in the hand after he repeatedly asked for the television remote. According to a criminal complaint for 57-year-old Michelle Robinson, the victim told police that she was keeping the remote from him in her purse. And he asked for it multiple times. According to the court, the third time the victim asked, Robinson pulled a knife and stabbed him in the hand. Robinson initially told police the victim stabbed himself, but investigators said she later made a spontaneous utterance that she did the stabbing. She told police the man wanted to watch football, but she wanted to listen to music.
That's going to be a problem then, huh?
A 34-year-old woman's been jailed for 18 months after trying to use a contract killer to eliminate a rival she was feuding with.
Oh, her rival.
Yeah. Her would-be assassin for hire, unsurprisingly, turned out to be an FBI agent, as they often do, making the woman the latest dummy to fall for the satirical website rentahitman.com. Zandra Ellis of New Orleans submitted a request via the aforementioned website using the pseudonym Jasmine Brown. But Ellis also entered her real email address, along with her actual phone number and home address. In the section of the form that asked, describe what services you would like performed, she indicated she wanted to kill a woman named B.H. However, rentahitman.com isn't a real hitman for hire site.
No way.
It's a well-constructed parody that has unintentionally busted dozens of people who can't pick up on sarcasm.
I'll tell you what, pissmops.com's a little misleading as well.
The same with, was it Yellow Party, Lemon Party?
Lemon Party, yeah.
Lemon Party?
There are no lemons involved.
Yeah.
I was just shopping for cleaning products, and by God, I found something completely different.
I mentioned that website once as a joke, and I got a text message saying, "You son of a bitch." The .com even claims, and still claims, to be 100% HIPAA compliant. Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964, they joked. The website's privacy statement apparently links directly to the FBI's website. The humor seemed to have been lost on Ellis. After receiving a murder-for-hire request from Ellis, the .com's webmaster, identified in court documents as R.I., asked Ellis if she wanted a free consultation with a field operative. She said yes. Shortly after, R.I. called the big guns, notifying the FBI National Threat Operations Center that Ellis was trying to hire a hitman to commit an actual murder. According to court documents, Ellis told the undercover agent she had been feuding with BH over social media because the two women had children by the same man.
Oh, okay. I see. Because I was going to ask, I wanted to know more about this supposed rival.
That's what it was. They wanted his attention.
Some baby mama drama.
They're rivaling over $1 million.
A cook at a hotel in the Netherlands is facing charges for bringing a cannabis-infused cake to a work party.
Yum.
Police say the 29-year-old woman baked the space cake with 3 grams of cannabis and then brought it to her workplace for a coworker's farewell party. She did advise some of the coworkers to only eat it after work hours when they were at home, but 5 colleagues didn't get the warning and ate the cake while still at work, resulting in 2 of them falling ill. One male was particularly affected, ending up vomiting in the laundry room and having to stay overnight in a hotel because he was unable to go home.
How many pieces did he have?
He had a couple pieces. A female who consumed a large portion of the cake experienced a headache, nausea, felt high, and had memory lapses about her shift. She had to call in sick the next day. Prosecutors recognized that while the woman didn't intend for her coworkers to fall ill, she knowingly risked the possibility of the cake causing adverse effects. She took responsibility in court, saying, "I shouldn't have assumed my colleagues would tell others that it was space cake. I should have put a note with it," she said. The court acknowledged the absence of malice, but noted her responsibility for the potential risks. They imposed a conditional fine of $800, payable only if she commits another offense within a year. She also must pay $300 in compensation to her coworkers for lost wages and other damages.
Friggin' pot cake? Is that what it was?
They called it space cake, yeah. Yeah, marijuana-infused cake. We've had it here before. Nobody said a word to anybody.
Oh, that's great.
We have?
Didn't a band bring it in?
Band brought it in, yeah. There were brownies specifically.
Oh, yeah, that was really funny. You guys are a badass band.
Yeah.
What a bunch of idiots.
A New Jersey man celebrated his release from prison in Pennsylvania by going immediately back to jail. And his evening was eventful. 4:15 a.m. Monday, 35-year-old Marcus Stapleton stole an ambulance and drove it into the front of a convenience store. Stapleton, who has an extensive criminal history dating back nearly 20 years, entered the store and told the clerk he had a body in the back of the ambulance and needed directions to the freeway. The clerk provided directions and then called 911 after Stapleton left the store, police said, adding that he appeared to be in a panic and he was covered in blood. After returning to the ambulance, he drove the vehicle into the front of the store again, pushing in the front wall of the building. State troopers and police responded at once to the area to look for the ambulance. Then around 4:40 a.m., 2 troopers riding together in a cruiser saw the ambulance coming straight toward them. They activated the emergency lights and blocked the lane, but Stapleton drove the ambulance into the front of the cruiser, police said. Following the collision, he traveled on the wrong side of the roadway and crashed before fleeing on foot.
This guy sucks.
Yeah, he's bad at driving ambulances. At about 5:30 a.m., he was taken into custody. It was actually the second encounter police had with Stapleton in just a matter of hours. Shortly after 1 a.m., they were dispatched to a home to assist an ambulance crew with an intoxicated person who required medical assistance. It was Stapleton. He had a cut on his hand from a broken bottle. He was treated for the hand injury and released, and investigators suspect that it was when he was leaving the hospital he saw the parked ambulance and decided to take off with it.
What a friggin' nightmare.
Then in Arizona, court documents are revealing new details surrounding an incident involving a stolen ambulance in Phoenix over the weekend. Around 2:30 p.m. Sunday, the suspect, identified as Jason Tyler Smith, seized control of an ambulance with a patient and 4 Phoenix fire personnel inside.
This was the first time where I'm aware of where an ambulance was attempted to be commandeered with people on board.
But Smith was only able to drive approximately 377 feet because he was pushed out of the driver's seat by a Phoenix firefighter who was on board.
We're very thankful for the quick actions of that firefighter thinking on their feet.
Just pushed him right out the vehicle?
No, just out of the seat.
Oh, out of the seat. I'm sorry, I blew up.
He ran from the area, but police quickly took him into custody. Investigators said Smith has a criminal history, which involves a 5-year stint in Arizona prison for armed robbery, and he was also sentenced to 30 days in jail following an arrest for shoplifting in Scottsdale. Court documents state Smith was on probation at the time of this incident.
You know, you're trying to get yourself to the hospital. That'll be my luck, Josh. When I have my first heart attack, some jag-off high on methamphetamines is going to get behind the wheel and drive me to Mora or something like that. Like, dude, I got to go to the hospital. Why are we in Mora?
That's a little detour.
A Florida woman said she considers herself really lucky after a 9-foot alligator left her with only scratches when it bit her on the head over the
I
weekend.
ripped the mask off and I turned and I saw its like 2 little eyes like sticking out of the water.
I saw her head in its mouth.
20-year-old Marissa Carr was snorkeling at a park swimming hole when the attack happened about 60 miles north of Orlando.
It didn't hurt bad in the moment. And then like as I was running back and like I saw what it was, that's when it started hurting. I was like, ow, my forehead hurts really bad and my neck is in like so much pain.
Carr, who was at the park snorkeling with a friend, said she believes her full-face snorkel mask probably saved her life. The 20-year-old said that due to the mask going over her head, she believes the alligator couldn't get a grip on her.
Sounds bad, but it biting my head is probably the best place that it could have bitten. I would have got a better grip on my arm, and I could have lost my arm or my life in general. I think the head, he didn't get a good grip of it. I think I'm genuinely just really, really lucky.
According to the U.S. Forest Service, Carr's encounter was the second alligator-related incident at the popular snorkeling spot in less than a week.
I don't think I want to go anywhere where there's any alligator-related incidents.
I'm with you 100%. Crazy video from New Jersey shows a deer flying into a pickup truck that was minutes away from being sold. Jay Vaughn was waiting for a potential buyer for his 2007 Chevy Silverado, and when the potential new owner rolled up, so did the deer. In the video, you can see the alleged buyer pulling up in front of the house as the deer suddenly sprints into view. From the right of the screen, the deer leaps and clears both a Pontiac Vibe and a Honda CR-V with ease, as if it had wings. It then lands belly first onto the side of the Silverado's bed, denting it right in front of the owner and buyer.
I've watched it at least 100 times. Oh my God! It's still funny to hear it crash into the side of the bed. Just couldn't believe it. You know, you promise the guy the truck's in immaculate condition and a deer comes out of nowhere and just caves the side of it in.
That thing can soar. That video's on 93x.com. It's incredible. After it landed in the bed of the truck, it awkwardly jumped out, kicking the vehicle again on the way down before running away.
I've never seen anything jump that high in my life. I'm wondering, where did this thing come from?
According to Vaughn's post, the Silverado the deer crashed into had recently been posted on Facebook Marketplace. He said despite the damage, the buyer still purchased it after he reduced the price. He had to give the buyer a $1,000 discount. Last week in Michigan, a deer crashed into a lingerie store and trashed the inside of the shop before finding its way back outside.
We had a deer leap through our glass door and create an entire ruckus all the way around the shop. Everybody pretty much kind of remained somewhat calm and just stayed out of the way.
The store's owner said no one was injured during the deer's visit, but the store had to be temporarily closed for cleanup and repairs.
Big
the lingerie shop.
I mean, over there at the still, I think you've never seen a deer until you've seen one at the bottom of a porta potty off of Washington Avenue before a Vikings game like Josh and I did.
That's something you can't unsee. As great as this video is, I wish that we would have had the presence of mind to grab our cameras.
Live. Don't misunderstand. It wasn't dead. It was alive.
It's just a Vikings fan.
Bottom of a porta potty.
It's a drunken Vikings fan.
Excited for the game just like you guys were.
A sneaky bear caused quite the confusion for a Florida family after it stole food that was just delivered to their home over the weekend. The family's doorbell camera footage revealed that the thief took the food off their front porch only moments after the delivery driver dropped it off. The video shows the Uber Eats delivery driver place the food at the Orlando area home. Then just moments later, a black bear casually walks up and snags the Taco Bell order before leaving. A few minutes later, a man, a woman, and a young girl can be seen opening the door to retrieve their order, only finding a drink, which was knocked over and leaking down the road, the walkway that is, but no food.
He came and he grabbed the food, and then he came again for the soda.
He was thirsty afterwards. The video shows them looking around, confused about where their Taco Bell order went. Officials say the video is a reminder for residents to be aware of their surroundings, especially when grabbing their food delivery, since the bears can be found almost anywhere in the Sunshine State.
They go anywheres.
Yo Barrow Taco Bell. The third season finale of The Morning Show is now streaming on Apple TV+. Then on Disney+, today marks the second season premiere of The Santa Clauses. Former Minnesota Viking quarterback Sam Bradford, 36.
Boy, you know, he's easily forgotten. No offense, but he's kind of easily forgotten, Sam Bradford, right?
He's kind of one of those.
He's here for a little while. He did some things, and then he went off somewhere else. That's how I remember it playing out, Josh.
It seems so long ago that I was surprised he was only 36. It just seemed like it was a lot longer ago than it was.
That's a thing.
Former Minnesota Twin and 93X Half-Ass Morning Show regular guest Nick Punto, 46 today.
F me.
Tara Reid, Nick.
Oh!
48.
Is she only 48?
Tara Reid.
She is so in my friggin' wheelhouse now. Man.
She's obsessed with you. Oh my gosh!
Someone said, people keep texting me saying she's on a show where she flies hot air balloons or something. What
is it? The Special Forces show?
Yeah, she's training. It's been Special Forces.
What's it called? Is it just called Special? I can't remember.
Yeah, let me look it up.
We're close. Congratulations to Horse Cop Jesus starting a new job at Dakota County Dispatch on Monday. Happy birthday, I hope I pronounced this correctly, to Luxana, turning the big 01 today from Dr. Honda Jesus and Law Major Jesus. Happy 56th birthday to column jockey Messiah. And do you have an answer for us?
Yes, Special Forces World's Toughest Test is the name of the program.
And she's on there now, Tara Reid.
Hot air balloon rides is what I was told. It's not hot air balloon rides?
It's more like jumping out of helicopters and things like that.
Well, you'll have to tune in, Nick.
I'll never see it, I'm sure, but
probably not.
You know how I operate.
That's 93X News.
Please welcome people's sexiest man alive, Mr.
Randy Shaver.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Is this a step back for Zach Robert?
I don't know if you could say step back. Was it his best game? Obviously not. Was it his worst game? No, I'm not going to say it was even close to his worst game.
MILF.
The hell's that?
MILF. Mom, I'd like to...
We're fans of the MILF man around here. That was the head coach of the New York Jets talking about his quarterback, Zach Brown Band. What's the name of the guy's game?
Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Here we go with Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder.
Wilson.
Morning.
Good morning.
Randy Shaver
Aaron
and Brad.
Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers says he's going to be back by December.
Yeah,
I thought he already came out and said...
couple of fortnights is what he said.
Couple of fortnights.
Couple of fortnights.
You guys, Janelle Klein tried to bring it up yesterday. I told her to save it.
I didn't realize that was going to get caught there. I mean, obviously that was said with a little tongue-in-cheek there. It'd be nice to be able to be back in a couple weeks. That's not anywhere near a realistic timeline, but a couple could be a few, could be a lot. Yeah, I said it smiling, joking. Obviously, it's going to be more than a couple weeks.
Don't care. Not at all. Don't care at all to ever hear that man's voice again or ever talk about him again.
You will, though.
Yes, you will.
Don't care. You guys, please. Heads up.
Until if there's ever a day he puts on a Vikings uniform, I bet you'll be a huge fan. Sarcastically, of course.
That would change things.
Yeah.
That would radically change
an obnoxiously huge fan.
Oh, absolutely. I would act like everything I've ever said about him was a joke.
But you would do it jokingly, where we had a coworker who went the opposite way when Brett Favre became a Viking.
Yes, it was pathetic.
And it was very anti-Brett Favre, but really pretended that we misunderstood those sentiments.
It was absolutely pathetic.
My favorite from him was, hey, anyone can throw into triple coverage. Yeah. Anyone can throw that.
Mm-hmm. And then when Brent came here to play football, this individual was absolutely shocked and appalled that we would even challenge him on the things that he used to say about Brent. It was ridiculous. But please, okay, so until that idiot pulls a Vikings jersey over the top of his head, can we just stop it with Karen? Stop it. There's nothing interesting about the guy.
What if he puts out his own marijuana strain?
I think we do it just to aggravate you. I think that's kind of why we do it.
I'd like to believe that's true, Randy Shaver, but I don't think it is. I think you guys really are that interested.
No.
What about Josh, you know this to be true. If he came out with a marijuana strain of his own and was trying to get people to go to his CBD shop, I would drop dead of a stress-related heart attack. Good Lord. Hey, heads up now, both of you boys, Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver. In about 20 minutes, we will be chatting with our new pal, Marcus Foligno of the Man Bear Pigs.
This was in an effort to gain more female listeners. And I'll tell you what, it's been working via some texts we've received.
Yeah, it really has.
So, the two of you better come up with...
It's good strategy by you guys, because before this, you had put all your eggs in the Dana basket, and that didn't work.
But we're big with 10 and 11-year-olds now. They share a lot of the same interests.
Yeah, you got the Lego crowd tuning in
now. Legoland's loving us.
We did think that Dane, we did, Randy Shaver, you're speaking the truth. Both of us, Josh and I, did think that Dana would be appealing on some level. We did. Men, women, we thought there would be some appeal there.
It was worth the chance.
and I got to be honest, we're not seeing the results on that.
And this doesn't seem fair either. He was hired under false pretenses. At the time, he had a beautiful wife, and we thought, see, look, he can attract the ladies. He jumps on the show, and they get divorced.
Yes.
And then she got implants a week later. We have made so many poor decisions on this show.
Well, it's the massive amount of options he had after he joined the show. That's what caused the divorce.
I can attest that is not the case, for myself at least.
You're not alone, Dana. Remember years ago we had that young kid working here who, his wife was wow.
Oh, yeah.
And we hung out with him a couple of times, and we thought, holy smokes, this guy's got they had just gotten married, if I'm not mistaken, and we thought, this guy's got life nailed, right? I don't know if a month or two went by, and he comes into the building, hey, how's the old lady? I caught her red-handed cheating on me the other day. We got a divorce.
Was it like with his best friend, too? I remember it was a very painful situation.
It was scandalous.
Here's a perfect example of what we got with Foligno here. Uber Jesus checked in and said this is a direct quote from his wife last night. Why doesn't Foligno do interviews without his shirt on? See, this is exactly what we're talking about.
Things are, I've noticed some changes in some of my female friends since we threw Marcus Foligno into the mix.
They've learned the names of people on the show.
They're starting to take an interest in this program since we signed Marcus up for a bi-weekly conversation with the Half-Assed Morning Show. One of my girlfriends said that he simply is the hottest man on the face of the earth. So here's the deal. In about 20 minutes, we're going to drag Marcus into the mix. So I'm counting on both of you, more so Brad, to come up with some thought-provoking hockey questions.
Okay.
Randy Shaver doesn't know a damn thing. He's an Iowegian. I'm not counting on jack squat from Randy, but Brad, you used to be employed by the Golden Gopher hockey program.
Sure, yep.
All right.
We have had some of the best-looking Minnesota Wild players on as our regular guests. Obviously, Zach Wild. Or Zach Wild.
Whoa.
Zach Wild, one of my favorite guitar players of all time, Zach Wild.
I think
Zach Parisi.
I've made that mistake, 1,500 times on the air. Yes, Zach.
Jim Dowd had that tough guy look, and that swagger.
He kind of had that, hey-oh.
Yeah, not like a pretty boy, but kind of like a rough,
like an Italian mobster.
Yeah.
He was like a slick-back Italian mobster from a De Niro movie. We'd call him on the phone. This is how he answered the phone. He'd go, oh!
And then what was it always with him? It was always this.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, it was always one of those things.
Hey, Jimmy Dowd, when you guys were on the power play, the 5-on-3, and you couldn't get a shot on goal, what happened there? It's one of those things. He'd say, it happens over there. That's how it happens. Jimmy, what happened losing to the Blackhawks? It's one of those things. It's you and me. You're looking at me. I'm looking at you.
That was fun.
Who else do we have on that was good looking?
Well,
what about the guy that tried to come back and beat you up?
Oh, Veilleux.
Stefan Veilleux.
Yeah, he's good looking.
Yeah, we never actually had him on. We had just paid him.
We never had him on.
We had paid him a compliment on the air. In a game of telephone, somebody thought we were making fun of him, and he did show up at the building to beat us up.
That's terrifying.
That's awesome.
Got off the team plane.
It wasn't
from
that
a road trip.
terrifying.
No, it wasn't.
Trust us, it wasn't that terrifying.
Well, if
Do you
can
remember seeing him play hockey?
No, not really.
Wasn't that terrifying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another text on Marcus Foligno. Marcus Foligno? Yeah, I'd do him. Yeah. A lot of people would.
They're not blind.
The first time we had him on, I got a text from my friend Kelly, who listens every day, and it was that famous gif of the woman on the beach doing yoga with her legs spread and her grabbing her hands.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, please.
That's graphic.
So that's coming up. We've got to cover some things before Marcus gets here.
I'm sitting here doing a little Marcus Foligno research.
Are you really? You trying to? You better not ask him something that we've already asked him, though, because we've had him on a couple times, Brad. Don't embarrass us. It's one of those things.
I'm on his Wikipedia page, so I think I'm coming up with something here.
All right. I'll introduce you as a former Golden Gopher great. And Randy as an Iowegian news anchor. And
my God.
He can make of that whatever he likes.
What is Marcus's status as far as relationship status go? Anybody know? Is he married?
He's married.
Yes.
2 kids.
He's got a couple.
We shouldn't have brought that. That's my fault. I brought it up. I just heard some ladies turn the radio off.
Yep, you messed up, Josh.
Yeah, I know he's got a couple of.
He married Natasha, and I cannot pronounce her last name. I'm looking at it right now. It's a long last name.
Well, you said the first name is Natasha.
Natascia. So I'm assuming that's Natasha.
This is kind of creepy that we're butting into his personal business like this.
Well, I mean, it's public information. Yeah, you can find it.
I think if we were trying to figure out what he got his kids for Christmas, that might be a little too far. But his wife's name, that's not too far.
I feel weird about it. Brad, is your personal life public information?
Well, if you dig deep enough, sure. But I'm not encouraging people to do that. But
maybe it's not though. Maybe we'll ask him a little bit about pickleball. Everybody wants to play pickleball these days.
Sure.
It's very popular, fastest growing sport.
Why don't you let me ask him about that, Nick? Because I know a lot more about that than you do.
Well, that's fine. I'd rather be able to beat you than be more knowledgeable about pickleball. You're almost going after yourself there. I knew nothing about the game and still whoop your ass.
Oh gosh, stop it!
You're the one who brought it up. For Christ's sake. Apparently, last night ESPN aired a pro-am celebrity pickleball tournament kind of a thing. I noticed this when I was flipping through the channels. You want to know who was playing? The event was held in the Dallas, Texas area, so it featured big-time Dallas-related athletes like the German Moses. Dirk Nowitzki.
Bet he's pretty good.
I don't know. I couldn't bother to turn it on. Jason Kidd, Tony Romo, a golfer named Scotty Scheffler were involved in this pro-am. But here's the deal. Some ESPN, I read the social media morons' ideas on this. Some ESPN viewers loved it. The great majority hated it.
It didn't seem like many liked it at all.
And I have tried to watch pickleball on television once, and it did not hold me. It did not hold me. It's just clink, clink. Oh, there's a point. Clink, clink. There's another point. It's like tennis. I can't. Tennis doesn't hold me either.
I'll make a prediction. It'll be an Olympic sport within 10 years.
Okay. I mean, Christ, why would it take that long?
Because, well, maybe it won't. But
yeah.
The entire world is playing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no one would argue that. Everyone's obsessed with it. It's a matter of whether it sticks or not.
I know you don't care about this, but there's a documentary on how pickleball began, who started it, and it's actually very fascinating. It was started on an island off of Seattle somewhere by a couple of families who created the game, and in their backyard or their back driveway or someplace, and that's how it all began. It's crazy.
Wasn't it named after a dude's dog, like the guy that started
something like that? Yeah.
I hope he trademarked it.
I think I heard that once in a while, that doesn't make any sense. I think I'd heard that once before. Well, here's a listener that says the only thing worse than watching pickleball on television is watching Prep Sports Extra. I don't know.
Oh, no.
That's
Come on.
cold as ice. That's cold.
Oh, Lord, that is cold.
And another listener is saying if you look Brad Ryder up on Wikipedia, it does tell everyone his breakup song. It's listed.
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, let me go look at it.
Go look at it. Go ahead. Yeah, pickleball. I'm burned out on it, but I know it's still rolling. It's rolling like James Brolin. What do I got here? Otherwise, Wolves are back at home tonight versus the New Orleans Pelicans. That means they got to find somebody on the roster to handle that big bastard Zion Williamson.
Ah, he's healthy.
Jesus.
Yeah.
When he is healthy, that is one hell of a ball player.
They'll play him without McCollum. He's out with a collapsed lung, so he won't be playing.
Really?
Yeah.
What, did he get in a car wreck or just?
I don't know how it happened, but I just know he's out.
C.J. McCollum's a great player, and not that you have to be in a car wreck to have a collapsed lung. I suffered a collapsed lung when I was in 8th grade, and it wasn't from anything physical. It just happened.
Yeah.
I was told at the time it was very common for kids my age. I was around 14, if I didn't say that already, and I was very skinny. And they said that's common for young, skinny kids to. Wow, that's terrible. That sucks. That was a terrible thing. That hurt like hell, and the whole process sucked. Brandon Ingram is another talented fella on the Pelicans roster. So that game's going to be put up on your television at 7 o'clock on Bally Sports North.
Yeah, they're a very good team when they're healthy.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They've got some talent.
They are. I hadn't heard this until yesterday. Timberwolves center Rudy Gobert went on his own darkness retreat this past offseason.
Did he get a recommendation from Aaron?
Yeah, I was just about to say Aaron Rodgers did the same thing. Your guy.
I think that's what people are following suit.
I thought we'd be able to get through this without the obvious side story. Everyone knows the obvious side. Rudy described it as an incredible experience.
Mm-hmm.
He went all in on a darkness, by God, retreat. Well, obviously, you can't practice free throws during a darkness retreat.
Maybe his percentage would be higher.
Good Lord.
Yeah, if he couldn't see where he was shooting.
Yeah, I mean, the other night against Boston, it looked like he was in the dark when he was shooting free throws. 3 nights, 2.5 days. He said 64 hours. He was encompassed by darkness. No phone, no TV, no motor car, no music. He had a bed and a sink, and he was forced to just meditate. The only concept of time that Gobert had was when he was brought meals. He had one meal brought to him at 7 a.m. and the other one not until 6 p.m.
Whoa. Oh, that's way too much of a gap.
Rudy Gobert hadn't heard that one, that he was involved in a darkness retreat.
Did he say what he gained out of it? What did he gain out of it?
I didn't get any specifics. He just called it an incredible experience. It forced him to think and meditate. I didn't have much other than that. I'm guessing
he said there was deep reflection going on. He thought a lot about his personal and professional life.
I mean, probably tossed off a few times. I don't know. I mean, well, what would you do in a damn darkness?
Honestly, yeah. What else are you gonna do?
It's been a while, but I think I'd be good for 2 days. Yes, 3 days in a darkness retreat.
Yeah.
Brad is jacking off.
Now, Brad isn't.
How would we know?
I wouldn't do that either.
I mean, you got 11 hours between meals?
You're definitely doing that.
Yeah, you have to.
Nobody's around? Heck yeah.
Just thinking about free throws, tossing off.
The only danger is you want to be the only one that's there when the lights come on.
Yeah, you don't know where that went.
You guys stay outside for a little bit. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Like
Need to locate some things.
Picturing Randy Marsh when he finally got some internet back.
No. That scene disgusted me.
What's the movie? What's the movie with Cameron Diaz and?
Oh yeah, there's something about Mary.
Oh yeah.
That scene was pretty gross too. You got something on your ear.
Is that ear gel?
You open the door, the lights. Oh, wow.
That scene was gross,
That
man.
was so gross.
Hanging from his damn ear.
Where did it go?
Oh.
It is great physical comedy on Ben Stiller's part when right after he has this massive orgasm, he cannot find the remains. And then the physical comedy part that grabbed me is when, and you'll remember this when I describe it, I hope, he spins in a circle looking at the ceiling. He looks up at the ceiling. That's the part where in the movie theater I thought, okay, that's good. Who in their right mind would look up at the ceiling after? What do you think you are, a bull elk or something? I mean, it's not going to hit this.
It's wishful thinking, I guess.
Oh, man. And see, now I want everyone to remember this now. Listen to Randy. I want everyone to remember this next time he argues that he doesn't like gross humor. He's over there sweating right now at the old folks' home, thinking about the Ben Stiller "Where Did It Go" scene from
that was so
Who Framed Mary.
Oh, gosh.
We're going to ask Marcus Foligno about all of this.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
Let's see what we covered so far: pickleball, darkness retreats, and
missing
ejaculation.
Gosh.
Darkness retreat. I'm writing that down. Yeah, Rudy probably tossed off.
I think that's a guarantee.
Oh, what the hell. Nikola Jokic, 10 years younger than LeBron James, but has already surpassed him in triple-doubles, career triple-doubles. He got another one the other night. He passed LeBron James and, give me the other name again, Jason Kidd, on the career triple-double list. I know you love the Joker, Randy.
Yeah, he's great. He's a fabulous player.
He got...
No doubt.
LeBron James, 1,400... Okay, so here's the deal. Jokic now has, unless I missed a game last night or the night before, I'm trying to remember when this happened. Jokic now has 108 career triple-doubles, okay? It took him 813 fewer games than it took LeBron James to reach that number of triple-doubles. We're not talking... He beat him by 5-6 games. 813 games.
Well, they are
10 seasons.
They certainly are two different style of players.
Without question. And
right.
Jason Kidd, throw Jason Kidd into that as well, of course.
Yeah. I think it's, just my own opinion, I think it's easier for a Jokic to get to that triple-double level just because of the access to the rebounds are a lot easier for a guy his size. And he's just such a great passer with great talent around him. LeBron hasn't always had the greatest talent around him.
The rebounding is what makes him able to get to that number a lot quicker. LeBron scores more, but Jokic will always usually get over 10 points a game.
But then again, the all-time leader in triple-doubles is not the biggest guy in the world. Who's the all-time leader in triple-doubles? Go!
Oscar Robertson?
No, he passed Oscar Robertson a couple years ago.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell stinking Westbrook.
Sure.
Yeah.
But Randy Shaver. Yes.
Russell Westbrook does that with just pure energy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just pure. That's what in his the peak of his career, he was just nothing but constant motion.
A few years ago, didn't he average a triple-double for the season, I think?
He did.
Yeah.
Unbelievable what that guy could put together. And I know Russell, he's got a bad reputation, but I mean, I saw him play the other night. Who's he playing for now? The Clippers?
He's with the Clippers. I don't know if he's got a bad reputation. I just think some people look at him as a selfish ball player.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean. I don't know. I love looking at these all-time lists. Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain. You know what makes me sick? Number 8 on the all-time triple-double list, James Harden.
Well, that's kind of his game, too.
I also think it's easier for guards to get rebounds today because, and I'm going a little deep here, but because it's a long-range shooting game today, there's longer rebounds.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, you're right. Ben Simmons is in there.
Pulling those centers away from the basket, too, because of the game.
There's more space.
Some of these names you wouldn't guess would be in the top 25 all-time career triple-doubles. Ben Simmons.
I would not guess Ben Simmons.
Rajon Rondo, and he played forever.
Yeah.
Grant Hill.
Yeah, I can see that.
Some of my favorites of all time. Clyde Drexler. Hey, Josh, you know who I believe is tied for 25th with Kobe Bryant on the all-time NBA career triple-double list? You know who's on there tied with Kobe Bryant?
Tell us.
Kyle Lowry. All right, there you go. Oh, before we get Marcus on, this has got to be a joke. Speaking of LeBron James, the Los Angeles Lakers contacted the NBA league office. I can't even say this with a straight face. The Lakers contacted the NBA league office to talk about a lack of foul calls for LeBron James.
No, what?
Will you please spare me from this nonsense?
That's ridiculous.
Everybody on social media is calling them a Karen. You seen that?
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
I did not. That is, are you effing playing with me? That is the most pathetic thing I've read all day long.
Take a look at his free throw attempts now the next 3 to 5 games.
Oh, God, yes.
See how they go up.
It will skyrocket. No, LeBron's not getting enough calls, you know. They sent video to the NBA. Here's a foul there. There was no call. The guy has gotten the benefit of the doubt from day one. Sorry if we're missing a couple of calls on the King. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a LeBron hater. I like the guy. That is stupid. There was a college basketball game last night in Reno, Nevada between the University of Nevada and Sacramento State. Late in the game, the refs had to postpone things for a while because of bats.
And now the game is stopped as some bats are swarming the floor.
Boy, there's a lot of them right now. Holy mackerel. Bats. 5, 6 of them cutting loose on the crowd, crapping in everybody's hair.
I would be out the door so fast.
Oh, really?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
That would freak you out, Randy?
I'm gone. I'm not sticking around to see what happens.
They're swooping up and down. They're doing what bats do.
You can take my seat. You can have my popcorn.
I agree, Randy. I'd be out.
You can't own a cabin then because there's a lot out by our cabin when you have a bonfire at night. Too.
Yeah.
Those things have rabies and stuff.
I'm sure. Who the writers? No, they don't. Rats families are clean. You probably see them a lot by your house, don't you? We get a lot by
Once
me.
in a while, yeah. You got to watch the dogs a little bit.
Yeah, they've never bothered me very much. I've plenty of times been in that situation like you were just describing, Brad and Ashley, sitting around the campfire, somebody's cabin, they're swooping around. Never really bothered me, but Randy Shaver, I think we just tapped into something now, so we need to torture you at your next birthday party or something.
Bring some bats.
Well, now we know how to get free popcorn out of Randy.
Yeah. Would you leave the wife behind if the bat showed up at the
I
ball?
probably would, yes.
Just running like hell.
Probably would.
But it is funny that, they delayed the game. The in-house DJ played the Batman television theme song. And I guess they got a problem in this arena. Bat-related incidents are not new to this arena.
I have no idea how you get rid of them either. How do you get rid of them? Brad, how do you get rid of them?
I don't. Well, they're outside, so we never try to get rid of them.
I think you bring in an eagle or two or something, don't you?
Yeah, really? We had one in the
I'm
house.
Kidding. I have no idea.
My dad got it out with a broom and a dustpan. Came down the chimney.
When we were kids, we had one in the house. And,
a little hard to do that in an arena, though.
Yeah.
How do you do that in an
You
arena?
can kind of keep them away outside with insect repellent the same way you would bugs, but they're still around.
3-4 years ago, they found a colony, and I love that for whatever reason, using the word colony of bats does kind of give me the willies. You know what I mean? That means a pile of them.
Yeah.
3-4 years ago, they found a colony of bats living in this arena. They can't get rid of them.
Wow.
That's great. Did something happen with Marcus? It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we're trying to call him, but it's going right to voicemail.
Oh, no.
Well, this is the first time we've tried to talk to him the morning after a game.
Maybe he heard us be all weird.
Huh?
Maybe he heard us be all weird about how good looking he is. He's like, I don't know anymore.
That was you.
I warned you. Did I not say that we were being creepy? You argued with me, and now the guy isn't calling the show.
Oh, no.
Well, before he comes on, we can at least mention the headline from last night's game, and that was Vinny Lettieri getting a goal while Lou Nanny was doing the broadcast last night.
Did you watch that happen live, Randy?
It was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It was awesome.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, that's the deal. We are the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, and joining us now, although the way we've been behaving this morning, I'm not sure he wants to. Marcus Foligno from the Minnesota Wild. Good morning, Marcus.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, man, I mentioned
That was half-assed. I was supposed to be on earlier. Sorry about that.
No.
Fitting right in.
How you guys doing?
We're doing good. And I just got done saying, I think this is the first time we've talked to you the morning after a game. So, we appreciate that because I don't know if you like to sleep in a little bit or what on mornings after.
I'm in the city that never sleeps, so, I'm not really. It's a tough it's good that we won last night, so going to be just early wake up here. I'm usually up at 7 anyways on regular days, so it's good.
So we're not bothering you?
No, absolutely not.
Well, we need to introduce you to a couple of fellas now. The prior, I think, 2 times we've had you on, I don't think we had these other fellas in the mix. They join us every morning at 7:30, and we talk sports, of course, including your hockey club. If you haven't heard of these guys, let us know. First off, we have Golden Gopher great Brad Ryder. And Brad, explain to Marcus what makes you a Golden Gopher hockey great. I should be specific, hockey great.
Well, I was the Golden Gopher hockey SID back when you were probably about 3 years old. So, according to Nick, that's what makes me a Golden Gopher hockey great.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Marcus would remember. Who were some of the big players when you were working for the Golden Gopher Hockey Club?
Oh, Brian Bonin. I don't know if you've ever heard of Brian. He won the Hobie Baker back in 1996. Yeah, and so this is way before your time, but guys like that.
Ryan Kraft?
Well, you know the Hankinson family, maybe. Casey Hankinson was on the team.
Okay.
Mike Crowley. I don't know if you know Mike or not.
Oh, yeah, he could play little defense, Mike Crowley. And also, Marcus, please tell me you've never heard of this guy.
Wouldn't that be something?
Care 11 News lead anchor Randy Shaver is also with us, Marcus.
I believe I heard of him, yes.
He believes. He's being polite.
Never heard of him.
So there you go.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Welcome.
So where are you? Where do you guys stay? Well, the Islanders they don't play in Brooklyn anymore, do they?
We're right in Times Square, actually. We're at the hotel right in Times Square. So we're
fun.
Yeah, it's nice, easy access to walk around, and it's good for some of the guys that haven't been in New York City. Some young kids we have on our team right now, so it's pretty exciting for them. But
can go hit that TGI Fridays.
Is there a TGI?
Yeah. What did you guys go out after the game?
Yeah, we usually if we stayed in we stayed actually on the island last game against the Islanders, so we busted in last night, and yeah, you're right in New York City, so you try to go get a late night bite or something. So this city's awesome. It's so much fun, and it's a nice day here today. It's a little warm, so just walking around, probably do a little shopping, do a little sightseeing and stuff like that. I know we got plans, Ryan Hartman and I, to go to Comedy Cellar later tonight, so that's always a fun time to go to. So it's fun to get out in the city and enjoy it and embrace it.
So you like a good comedy show now and again. So you don't got to go anywhere. It's for you got the Rangers game Thursday night. You won't be leaving New York until what, Friday morning?
No, we actually have a back-to-back with Buffalo. It sucks. So we got to go. We got to get right out of New York City tomorrow night and then head to Buffalo.
Well, are you in the city last Saturday because you were playing the Rangers? So you've probably been there all week.
Yeah, this schedule is ridiculous. I don't know. We were just here playing New Jersey, and we were in Hoboken, so we were we were 20 minutes away, and we come in and we play Philadelphia, I believe, and we went Philadelphia, Washington, New Jersey. And then now we went back home for 2 games, and we come right back to the game.
That's just dumb.
I don't know who decided to play on that schedule, but yeah, whatever. It's good. We got 2 rounds of New York City that way.
You see, I'm kind of surprised that you sound like you really like New York City. I kind of pictured you, you're a Buffalo guy. I kind of pictured you preferring small town like Buffalo compared to New York City.
Yeah, let me rephrase that. I like New York City for like 2 days. I like just someone bringing me into the city. I don't know about driving in the city. I'm not like that at all. But I enjoy the city life a little bit for just 2 days. But then, yeah, it's one of those places I do feel this way a lot. After day 3 or 4, you're like, get me out of here. So
it's kind of like Vegas.
Yeah, I mean my hotel room. I'm not disrespecting the hotel's a very nice hotel, but these hotel rooms are not your standard hotel rooms. Like, you walk in, your foot hits the bed, your toilet's right next to your bed. It's just, everything's tight, and it feels like it's just everything's closing in on you in New York City. But you enjoy the food, the nightlife, that stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, I suppose they want to squeeze as many live human beings in there as possible, so they make the rooms smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, tell you what, last night you got your club, your line got your club started by getting involved in the scoring right away. You got a goal 19 seconds into the game, and you end up beating the Islanders 4-2. You got a couple wins in a row, including that big comeback over the Rangers the other night. And Randy Shaver brought this up. Something that we all thought was very cool last night was the Vinny Lettieri goal.
Yeah, fabulous.
With his grandfather, Lou Nanny, up in the booth, the Bally Sports North booth, calling the game.
Great.
That was a cool moment.
Yeah, you know what was awesome was, Vinny's a great player and works his butt off every night, and a great guy off the ice too. So to see, I didn't really know the relation until probably a year ago about him and Lou Nanny, and it's pretty special. Lou's an amazing guy too, and he's always on the trip a couple times a year calling games. And then now that Vinny being on our team, we joked with him before game. Just his grandfather's calling the game. It's pretty special. And then for him to score and Lou to be calling it, I mean that's amazing. I don't know if you could hear it, but the whole bench was screaming Lou. So when he scored, we came down the line and we were giving the Lou chant. So it was.
Awesome.
You know what? That's amazing. I think we could all appreciate it. Our grandfather called one of a pretty cool sports moment for us. So we're really happy for Vinny and the way he's been playing for our team. And it's definitely a special moment for him and his family.
Yeah, no doubt. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but the cameras caught you last night, Marcus, putting your arm around.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool moment.
Yep.
Putting your arm around Vinny on the bench, and it was kind of a cool thing for everyone to see. Young kid, and you were encouraging him and everything like that.
Yeah, it's a special moment, and that's what makes our game so fun. Is that I'm sure their family group chat was blowing up last night, but that's just an unreal moment. Like I said, a grandfather calling his grandson's NHL goal for a Minnesota team. You couldn't draw it up any better.
Yeah. So when I did a story with Louis, I don't know, I think it was back in December. It was during state hockey tournament time. So it was in March. And he told me his goal in his life right now is to call his great-grandson's games for the state hockey tournament in March of, 10 years from now. And I said, Lou, you'll be 92. And he goes, I know. But he goes, I this is my goal. So I wouldn't put it past him. The guy's amazing. The energy that he has at his age and just how incredibly sharp he is, I would not put it past him.
No, absolutely. He's very sharp. I mean, he's in our pregame meal, and him being Italian and me being Italian, he comes up to me and he's checking out the way we have a pasta bar, so you can go up there, you can order penne noodles or spaghetti, and then you can do the sauce, and this person makes it for you. It's pretty spoiled here in the NHL, but we go up there and he's examining the way I order my spaghetti. So it's just it's just so funny. Like, you see food, man, he's coming up to me, he's like, "Why no sauce?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I keep it light. I don't trust the red sauce on the road." And he loved it. Like, he's right in there making funny witty jokes, and I can see him being able to do that. His goal of calling his great grandchild, no problem.
Yeah, you come from a hockey family too, so you can relate to Vinny Lettieri and all that. Was your old man able to see you in your first couple of NHL? I know Vinny's been around for a little while and played in a handful of NHL games. Yeah. Not like last night was his first game or his first goal. It was his first goal as a member of the Wild. But was your old man able to see you play in a couple of your first games?
Yeah. It was a special moment for our family too. My brother. Nick who now plays for Chicago, was playing for the Ottawa Senators when I got called up for my first NHL game. So we had our whole family. When I got called up, it was against my brother Nick. It was around Christmas time. I think they called me up just to give me a little early Christmas present. So I was down the minors for a bit, grinding out, and then my dad was there to see our first run in together, my first NHL game, and then I got sent back down, and then I got called back up later in the season, and it was against Nick again, and that's when I scored. So It was a special moment, and Nick and I both did our first NHL goals. When my dad played, he had a special jump after his goals that he would do. It was kind of crazy, but Nick and I both did it to honor my dad. We both jumped after him.
That's really cool.
And he was there to see it, but we would never jump again. That was I don't know how he did it after every goal. It was exhausting.
Man,
That's awesome.
if I were to honor my dad right now, I'd be driving a semi-truck to Omaha.
With a cigarette hanging out of your mouth.
With a cheap tattoo on one arm and a cigarette in my yap, hauling a load of tapioca pudding to Omaha, Nebraska.
Randy might be interested in that.
Oh, yeah. You were given back to that win over the Rangers on Saturday night where you guys came back from down 3-0. The local papers were giving you, Marcus, a lot of credit for pepping your club up, some kind of speech you made. I read that you downplayed it a little bit. What happened there?
I just closed the doors and swore at every single guy in there after the third. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? We just kept it calm. I mean, it was just one of those things where, like, you get 3 goals that go in like 5 minutes, and you're like, holy, like, what the hell's going on? Like, do we have to like cut someone's hair off and burn it in the shower or something like that to like get by this thing? Like, I don't know that's what we felt like. Like, we were playing really well. Everyone had their legs. Everyone felt good. The energy on the bench was loud, and yet we're down 3-0, and it was just like, no, this isn't going to happen again. So that's all it was. It was just a talk about like staying steady. Don't go on your own page, because that's when things get off the rails. If you got guys that just, you know what, I'm going to try to go get my goal, my assist, and this isn't working. And if you do that, then it's a slippery slope, and it could be a terrible night, like the San Jose Sharks have been putting up this year. So
yes.
It's just one of those things. You just got to stay with it and like keep guys in the moment and focused, and not go on your own road and go down your own road. And it was good. We answered right away, and I mean, man, we felt like right when we got one, we were going to get another one, and we did next shift. And then after that, we knew we were going to win the game. So
Nick's right. The paper compared your speech to William Wallace from Braveheart.
Oh.
They said it was just like, I don't know if you saw the article, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's one of my favorite movies. But you know what? I don't think I got that intense. It was just one of those things. You got to rally the guys and make sure that they're focused, and it worked out. It paid off.
So you didn't do what? There's a former famous ex-Timberwolf speech, Christian Laettner. I don't know if you've heard of Christian before. He went in the locker room after a game, Marcus, and he pointed at each individual locker and said, "Loser, loser, 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 loser." And then when he got to his locker, he pointed "winner," and he sat down. You didn't do that, did you?
That'll gain you some friends.
No, I didn't do that.
That'll do it.
I don't know if that'd be comical or what.
That actually encapsulates the entire career for Christian Laettner with the Timberwolves.
He had some problems then when he was young.
Yes, he did.
Oh, man.
There you go. Marcus, you probably need to get some rest. One more quick question for you. Listeners have been texting in. Being a Buffalo guy, a couple of our listeners want to know if you've ever jumped through a table at a Buffalo Bills tailgate party.
Oh, man. You know what? We have. I personally didn't do it, but we threw one of our teammates on it. We tailgated. I mean, this is 8 years ago now, but it was a Monday night. Buffalo Bills had the Monday night game against the New York Jets, so it was a 8:00 start, I believe, and we got there at 9 a.m. So it was
criminy.
Pack a lunch.
So let's just put it this way: we saw the highlights the next day, and I don't remember any of those highlights. That's just how that went. So it was. We had a Buffalo Bills tailgating is the best. It's insane. It's a lot of fun because of just how much space is around the arena. Right? There's so many pockets to be in, and places are. People have their RVs set up, and they got the big TV out. They got the tents, and then there's this bar. There's this little bar. I forget the name of it, but if you can get your car in there around that place, oh, it's a party. There's a DJ. It's insane, and it was a blast. It was a nice weather day too, so we always did a mandatory home opener all the guys on our team would tailgate.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a blast. It called for some fun times. I mean, it's just
and you did throw a teammate through a table?
We launched, one of our rookies.
Nice.
You launched him. I like that.
Yeah, we launched him. Yeah, but he was okay. He got right back up. There wasn't a hazing incident, nothing like that. It was just good old fun. So
welcome to the league, kid.
That beat us that night. I don't even remember, but I think the Jets lost. So
yeah,
I mean the Jets won with Bills lost. So it was a good time. And like I said, we had to wait for the highlights the next day to remember the game.
If he was out for the next for your next game, you would have classified it as a lower body injury.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Landed on his nuts. We don't know how. That's a great story, Marcus. I appreciate that. I'm so glad the answer was yes, that you've been to a Buffalo Bills 9 a.m. for an 8 p.m. game.
Yeah,
watch
it's
the
like
highlights.
You bring a plastic table, you just know it's not coming back with you. You just burnt whatever, how much money. It is what it is. Someone else is going to steal it to jump in it. It's just insane, man.
That's great. Hey, man, go get some rest, and we'll be watching tomorrow night when you boys play the New York Rangers. We appreciate it very much, Marcus.
Thanks, Marcus.
Thanks, guys.
We'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks. Yeah, you too. Our Minnesota Wild update with Marcus Foligno is brought to you by Luther Kia of Bloomington. There you go.
Awesome.
You got a chance to talk with Marcus. I think before we go,
he
thought I had one
perfectly.
Oh, he's great, isn't he?
Yeah,
he
does.
He really does.
I thought I had one more thing here for you, and it was good news. Where is it? Oh, here it is. You want some good news?
Sure.
An NFL insider believes that if Bill Belichick loses this weekend, he'll be fired.
Oh,
I saw that.
Wow.
Now we're talking. All right, you guys. Thanks very much. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, we appreciate it very much.
Yep.
We'll talk to you about Randy tomorrow and Brad on Friday. We'll see you later.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Did you know that Standard Heating has over 700 years of combined experience in the heating business? Now that's a lot of brain power. Hi, Corey here. As the call center manager at Standard, I'm proud to be able to work for a company that provides top solutions and experiences for our customers. Ashley, tell us more.
Take advantage of Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's HVAC Black Friday specials and save up to $1,500 on a furnace and AC combo or $1,000 on a new boiler. Check out the hottest deals in town all through November at standardheating.com.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show.
Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett.
Where do the majority of UAP sightings happen?
Yeah, military installations, but I couch that. I mean, if they're going to fly here and check something out, they're going to see where our best and brightest are, I would assume. They asked me about seeing any UFOs in Washington, D.C., and I said, no. I said, there's no intelligent life around here.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Minnesota State Trooper Gordon Shank.
I called you to report a crime that I don't have nothing to do with. I'm not involved in the crime. I didn't perpetrate the crime.
On the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I hear you. Here's the deal. It is 8:33. We're back on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show, and we appreciate you going ahead and dialing us up this morning. Joining us in studio is an old pal who is here to say goodbye forever.
Not cool, dude.
Lieutenant Gordon Shank of the Minnesota State Patrol, and he has some friends along with him. If you have a question about the rules of the roadways here in the state of Minnesota. Can I get away with this? Can I get away with that? Please, no window tint questions.
Oh, there goes my first question.
Our number is, our text number, 651-989-9393. Hello, Gordon.
Hello, how you doing?
And friends.
Yes, I have my replacement with me, which is Lieutenant Jill Frankfurt. She'll be taking over for me after today.
Lieutenant Joe.
Jill.
I missed Jill. Speak into the microphone, Gordon. You've been here before. I couldn't understand what you were saying.
Lieutenant Jill Frankfurt.
Jill Frankfurt. Now, what's your deal? Where are you going?
So I was fortunate enough to be offered a promotion to captain of our East Metro District, so I'll be working out of Oakdale now.
So the guys and gals that work in that district, I'd imagine they're unhappy about this promotion?
Morale has never been lower.
A lot of of them moving to different districts?
Yes.
Or departments
The
in general?
transfers coming out of the district are just unforeseen. I can't believe it.
So you will no longer be the spokesman, the person we see on television describing this, that honor now goes to Jill Frankfurt.
That is correct. That's it for me. Maybe I'll swing in once in a while.
That's cool.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, we're good.
Fair enough.
Jill's here now.
I heard they were having a party at headquarters. It was for me, but I wasn't invited, so it kind of leads you to how the feeling is there. So.
Well, there you go. I mean, big deals for you, big things. You excited?
I am. Yeah, it's a challenge. I enjoy working with troopers again.
Is it a challenge for anyone or specifically you?
It's a challenge for everyone, I think. Yeah. Very good question.
How many years have we been doing this gimmick? Has it been 4 years, 5? I can't remember.
This November would have been 5, so just shy of 5 years. I know it seems like an eternity for you guys, but it flew by.
We were talking earlier about at first you sucked.
That's fair.
I like how you sound saying that.
You hear the pain in his voice.
Did you know that at first you kind of sucked at this?
Oh, yeah. I was reminded every day by my friends, troopers. I didn't know you guys. You were my only support, and that's just it for me. So.
No one's in your corner.
Yep.
The first couple of times we had on, Josh, tell him what I said to you off air when Gordon left.
You said we got to get a different guy.
Yeah.
That's fair. I can believe that. I really can.
And I had said, listen, I have heard so many people say how funny the guy is. Just let him warm up. Because I know we may have a reputation of putting you guys in a bad spot.
Yes, I think that for me, it was just getting used to your guys' banter. So I appreciate you taking it and let me work into it.
It wasn't that bad, Gordon. I get uppity. I get impatient. I sometimes run a little hot. It wasn't you. It was me. But, I mean, it became a great regular segment.
We always look forward to it.
We look forward to it more and more every time. Things radically changed.
Especially our female listeners when they got to look at you. Doesn't surprise us that you came in here with a couple of ladies. That's kind of how you do it.
Well,
I mean, look at this right here. So, I just got done saying if you have a question about the rules of the road, go ahead and text us. Here's how one of the texts started right from the get-go. Hey, Lieutenant Sex Pistol. The people that went crazy for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
You became like the Leif Garrett of give me a fresh example of that, Josh, because no one knows
Zac Efron.
You became the Zac Efron of law enforcement.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of people and you to say, so thank you.
Well, Jill, tell us about yourself. How long have you been with the force?
Let's meet Jill.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've been with the State Patrol for just over 10 years now.
You've started so much better than Shank did the first time we had him on.
You said that so much smoother than Shank did.
Honestly, this is going to be a good fit.
I'm going to head out. You guys
Yeah, don't let the door hit you.
10 years in the business already.
Yeah, 10 years. Started back in 2013 and started kind of just like Shank did on overnights, working dog watch out on the road.
Dog watch, you mean what, with a canine?
No.
I don't know.
So yeah,
she's a big fan of quadrupeds. She's out there just looking for dogs.
It's a term that cops use for the overnight shift. It's something that's always been dog watch is what it's called.
Okay,
so.
Started doing overnights.
Yep.
I bet there were some real adventures there.
Yeah, we had some fun out there, that's for sure.
Any stories from dog watch that you'd like to share with us where you thought, Jesus, criminy, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, I'm not too sure if we could share some of those fun stories.
Now, if I could just tell you what happened behind the scenes, it was hilarious. Jill looked over at Shank, and Shank kind of gave I don't know if you should say anything. I'm not so sure that that's a good idea.
I don't know if people are ready to hear the types of people we interact with sometimes overnight, so.
Yeah, I bet it's kind of fun. I know I've met some troopers who really enjoy that time. It's a little more wild. That's when you're pulling over people dressed as butterflies and stuff on Halloween or whatever.
Absolutely.
A little more fun. All right, how about a question from Offended Millennial Jesus who wants to know for either one of you, if I hit an animal, after I'm done crying over its body and screaming why, what is protocol?
Well, it depends. I mean, if you're required to stop, because we've had those situations where you think you've hit an animal and it could be the worst case scenario, which is you've hit a person. So you're required to make sure you stop and check to see what you hit. If there's no injuries, like let's say, for example, it's coming up now, deer season. We have a lot of deer crashes. If there's injuries, our troopers will respond and investigate the crash and make sure you're fine and get you medical attention. If not, you can obviously call our dispatch. They can provide you what is called like an event number, or it's similar to a case number, and you can provide it to your insurance for your crash, depending on the damage. But also, if the animal's suffering, and that's one part of the job that people maybe don't realize when you're a trooper, is that you're required to humanely dispatch that animal. So
that's awful.
So for example, we get a lot of crashes with deers where we have to go out and unfortunately put the deer down because it's not going to survive and it's suffering. So just make sure that it's don't go into the roadway to remove the animal. That's dangerous for yourself. Just if there's an animal in the roadway, call us. We'll get there. Depending on where it is, we'll head out and try to get everything taken care of.
Even if it's like a I don't know, like a squirrel?
Well, don't worry about a squirrel, but
Screw the squirrel. I'm going to tell God you said that.
I mean, you are required to humanely dispatch that animal in some situation.
And it could be, and we've seen it with pets too, like a dog. Think of dogs. That happens.
That's the worst thing I've heard all day.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, there's troopers that, I mean, it's an unfortunate part of the job that we have to do, but the alternative is the animal suffers in the roadway there.
Of course. Of course. Absolutely.
Good question.
Ask me about CrossFit. Jesus wants to know, what is the new move over law?
Do you want to take that one, Jill, or do you want me to? I can do it, but you just did an interview on this.
Yeah, we just talked about it. So previously, move over law was drivers needed to move over, give a lane of traffic, or at least slow down to emergency response vehicles on the side of the road, which could include tow trucks or ambulances, law enforcement vehicles. But now the law says that you have to move over for any vehicle on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. Really common sense, right? If people are walking outside their vehicle, they were crashed or stalled, you want to give them as much room or slow down if possible.
So anybody who's on the shoulder, we should move one lane to the left skis.
Yeah, if you can safely move over. If not, then definitely slow down your speed.
Yeah, I think that's important that Jill says that, because a lot of times drivers will just move over without looking in their mirror, and that can cause a crash too. So if you can't move over, we understand with traffic that can be a challenge depending on the conditions of traffic itself, but at least slow down. If you can move over safely, do it, but if not, significantly slow down as you pass that vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, you so far you're doing so much better than Gordon did.
I know. I mean, we actually didn't know that it was possible. I mean, we had no idea, but this is what it's like when you have someone that knows what they're doing.
I'm getting texts already from troopers. It's saying, "You're terrible." I'm glad Jill's taking it.
I think that's fun about your profession, where there is, a brother and a sisterhood, how much crap you guys do get.
The memes that were made of me in this and Jill's role now were good, but these ones with me being captain they're out of this world. So you're right, the ribbing it's good.
Yes, I've seen some of the troll jobs you get. It's pretty, and also how there's just no sympathy whatsoever.
None.
And no margin of error. If you screw something up just a little bit, you're going to hear about it.
And I did tell Jill that. I said, just be aware that troopers listen and other employees listen in the state patrol, and I've had calls where I would have said it this way or that way, and I'm like, oh, thank you. Well, next time you can come on and do it. So it's just be aware that everyone listens. So you have to be spot on.
I love that. Why don't you do it, a-hole?
Here's a text message. It says, "Dear Lieutenant Shank, we will miss you. The Cincinnati Bengals suck."
Thank you. I was waiting for one of those.
If you're at a city street, there's no stop sign either way. Who has the right of way?
City street, no stop sign anywheres?
In an intersection?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would even be. Yeah. I don't know if there's one. The only thing I can think about is roundabouts. That's what they've done now.
I know what I've seen that before. I was always taught it was the person on the right.
Well, usually, yeah, you've watched for the person on the right. They have the right of way, but I have not seen an intersection without a stoplight, stop sign, yield, anything. So I guess, yeah, you would make sure that you look to your right, and the person that's in the right of way there to the right, I would defer to, but I don't think you see many of those. A lot of cities are going towards those roundabouts, and we get a lot of questions on roundabouts too, but just be cognizant that if you're going to enter an intersection, just look both ways and look to the right.
If you're on a 2-lane highway, can you pass more than one car at a time if they're close together? Let's say there's 2 cars in front of you.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know anything specific to that law that says you can't.
Here comes
It's an interesting one.
But you have to make sure that my concern, you can do it as far as I'm aware, but the concern is that just make sure that you're safely doing that, because there's traffic coming the opposite direction that is going at the same speed you are in that direction. So just be careful that you don't cause a head-on crash, something of that nature if you're going to do that. Obviously, we recommend that you drive safely and do so and make those lane changes legally, that you do it safely and make sure you can clear those vehicles and do it safely.
That's an interesting one and a real simple one that I don't think we've ever gotten before.
No, we haven't.
That's
a few people are texting in different cities where you find. I can tell you where I grew up, there was plenty of those in Minneapolis.
And I grew up in, obviously we know this when I'm going to bring it up, but I grew up in Ohio.
Yeah.
And that's a thing where a lot of roads are that way. And so when I came here, I didn't see as many as I did there, but that's a good question.
Imagine if those roads in Ohio where you grew up, imagine if they were paved.
You know what's funny is every
something.
every time my wife and I visit Cincinnati, she says, I hate this place. These roads.
Oh, really?
These roads are curved. I feel like I'm going to die every time I'm on them. She's like, how did you survive in this world here? She does not like that place. The roads especially.
How are the drivers? I'm trying to remember. I think it was Milwaukee I was in, and I thought, I'm not going to get out of here alive.
I don't know. The driving's not terrible. The problem is there's a lot of hills. It's in the valley, and there's just there's a lot more population. So there's a lot more fatal crashes there, injury crashes, but people do drive like maniacs there too.
Do they?
Yeah.
Keep your questions coming. We're at 651-989-9393. That's our text number. If you have a question for our guests this morning, we have Lieutenant Gordon Shank and the individual who'll be taking his place. And I didn't get your rank, Jill.
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant
Yep.
Jill Frankfurth. I'm saying that correctly?
Frankfurth.
Frankfurth. Frankfurth. Jill and Gordon are both here this morning.
Shank and Frank.
You do have to find a name for her.
You have to have a buddy cop television show.
Yeah, totally.
We've got dual lieutenants this morning on the Half-Assed Morning Show. An old friend, Lieutenant Gordon Shank, and a new friend,
Captain Gordon Shank.
I'm
How
sorry.
quickly you forget.
Did he mention that already?
He did.
Oh, sorry.
I believe you even asked.
The punches just keep coming here.
Captain Gordon Shank, and our new friend is Lieutenant Jill Frankfurth from the Minnesota State Patrol. I have a question for Jill. We have questions coming in, 651-989-9393, if you have something to ask the troopers before we get out of here. My question for Jill is, Gordon has told us over the years about the State Patrol recruiting programs. He's called it out on the air, like, hey, we need new officers. Is that how you got started?
I did. I came in through our Lido program, so had nothing to do with law enforcement before I came in. I had a 4-year degree and decided I wanted to try something different, so left the military full-time and came here.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because Baggin' Bodies Jesus text. By the way, listeners give themselves names and then finish it with Jesus, right? Because they're the best at what they're doing.
What if you're a lady?
Then you're a Jesus.
Then you're a Jesus.
Yeah. I thought you were talking to me in particular on that because I'm considering it.
And I would love you just as much.
I wants to know if you're aware of when the next Lido application process will be. Is it already planned?
I don't know if they've told us yet when they're going to do it, but we're hiring nonstop here. So keep an eye on mntrooper.com. It'll have all of our hiring cycles, as they call them, that'll be up and coming in the next year. There'll be opportunity. If you have a 2 or 4 year degree and you're interested in becoming a trooper, now's the time. As soon as we open up for applications for that, there's going to be a lot of spots. I can tell you my district needs troopers, so please apply. I would love to have you. We need help, and we need people out on the road to keep our roads safe.
And we've given our troopers in the past nicknames. Every trooper's had a nickname. Wolfpack Softball Jesus has a suggestion for you, Jill. Let's see what you think of this. If you Frankfurth, you're last. What do you think of that?
That's a hell of a route to take right there. Now, Josh, we wanted to ask the troopers about the Good Samaritan law. We had a story in the Stupid News that brought this up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we were curious. So basically, the gist is somebody was drowning, and there's a bunch of idiots standing around this guy drowning, taking selfies and filming it, but nobody helped him, despite there being 2 life preservers right there.
Unbelievable, really. This was in England, but truly unbelievable. Nobody did anything to help this individual. They all just got their phones out so they could be a big hit on social media.
Yeah, and the cops showed up and basically like, what the hell, right? So some people texted in and said, hey, we have laws here where you're supposed to help someone. And there were some varying opinions on whether or not that's legit. So we were wondering if maybe you guys could clear that up for us.
So for us, we have that. We do have people that help, and a lot of times it crashes, or for example, vehicles in a pond. We end up with something like that where people go in and help, and we're thankful that people are there to help, and they help save people's lives. And specifically to Minnesota, I'm not specific on that law if there's one, but I know federally there's a law where you can help as a good Samaritan and you're kind of protected. But for us, we try to do a lot of the life-saving efforts when we get there. It's part of our job, but we do appreciate and are thankful for the people that have stepped up in the past in certain situations, and we try to honor those people at the State Patrol Awards banquet every February.
Sure. Yeah.
We have a lot of them. There's people that do step up, and I'm thankful they do. They do amazing work, and sometimes it'll be someone that's a nurse that's on their way to work, and they see someone that's injured, and they provide first aid, and it saves that person's life. So if you I don't want to give people advice on what they should or shouldn't do, but people have made their own decisions in those situations, and it's saved lives in the past.
But is there an obligation, a law that obligates a citizen to jump, not jump into a water and swim and throw someone a line, for God's sake, if they're drowning?
I don't know if there is one specific, especially to Minnesota. Not that comes to the top of my head. I could be wrong. But,
okay.
For us, we just always hear about them as we're doing our investigations, or we get there right after someone is doing those life-saving measures. And that's the situations we've ran into specifically. I don't know if anyone's ever been charged, especially by us, for failing to do that, but I could be wrong.
I wish someone would have saved my ass the first day I walked into this building. Throw me a friggin' line.
Shank, now that you're leaving the illustrious broadcasting career you've developed for yourself, name the 3 troopers that you wouldn't want responding to save you. See, Joe, this is the kind of thing you can expect.
Gordon Shank would be the first one.
Oh, no. I'm my only hope.
Yeah.
Would you be comfortable sharing pet peeves? We got a text wondering if you guys have any specific pet peeves, maybe things you see on the road or...
Oh, on the job?
Yeah.
I can tell you, well, there's a couple things that...
Not just a drunk aunt or something. We're talking about on the job. Okay.
One thing that does bother me is, so it's a cell phone law, hands-free. When it comes to stoplights, and you're not allowed to be on your phone when you're on at the light at a stop sign, and I will see people on their phone, and then you have someone waiting in traffic that's following the law. You get that left green turn arrow, and you only get it for so long, and then that light turns red, and you're stuck again. Well, if there's someone distracted in front of it, it bogs down traffic, and people don't get through. That is my pet peeve, and what becomes even more my pet peeve is when I stop them for that and educate it on them. Like, hey, you can't do that. They argue about it. And I'm like, the law says you cannot use your phone while you're driving.
It's either legal or it's not.
Yeah, so that's my pet peeve. It's things like that where it's like I'm talking to a wall, basically.
I bet that's fun when they tell you the law.
It's very good. I mean, it helps educate me on what I'm doing wrong. So,
well, you take that as a teaching moment.
Absolutely.
What about you, Jill?
Pet peeves. I think one of my pet peeves is just when I'm driving and people see a squad car and they feel like they need to just drive at that exact speed limit and not let you move over. Or,
well, they get your blind spot.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we want people to drive the speed limit, or if conditions dictate less than the speed limit, thinking of snow, but they get right in your blind spot when you're in a marked squad. Like, you can't do anything because they're afraid to get directly next to you, and then you don't. And then if you need to go to a call, like, you're trying to maneuver through, and they're just right there.
Don't pass him. Don't pass him. Yeah.
So you guys know, like, everybody's trick, right? Like the person that acts like they don't see you, or the person that just tries not to look over at your car.
Well, yeah, it's like the ones where you have someone that's clearly not wearing their seatbelt, or they're on their phone, and you get up next to them, and they refuse to check any mirrors or look anywhere than straight ahead.
Yeah. 10 and 2 the whole time.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Sweating.
So do that.
I think everyone does wonder, okay, this is a 55, the trooper's going 52. Do I go 55? Or do I, because I think, I've been in that situation. I usually try and just go 50, because I don't want you to think I'm a nerd. That's why I always go 2-3 over, so you don't think I'm a nerd. Or drunk when we come into work at 3 in the morning.
There you go.
2 sets of twins. Jesus has a new nickname for you, Shank. What do you think of this one? Captain Too Good for the Brotherhood.
Oh, no. I did tell Jill, I said the best part of this job that she's taking over is coming in here. I sincerely mean that. I enjoy this. It's fun. It's a great group of people, so I'm gonna miss it.
Well, we appreciate that a lot.
It's nice of you to say.
But out with the old, in with the new.
You've said a lot of mean things to us today, but it's always nice to see you. We love having you in, honestly. And Jill, welcome.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Gordo, and welcome, Jill. We always have had a good time, and we know the good times will continue. Appreciate everything from both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone take care. Have a great Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Nice of you to say. Yeah, you too. That sounded sarcastic.
Yes,
It didn't mean it to be.
I don't know what
we got on a roll, I think. No, I genuinely appreciate that. Happy birthday to Candy Jesus, to Ginger, turning the big 09 today from Little Works Jesus. Happy birthday to Dawn from Mug Slingin' Jesus. And Timmy Tampons, he humbly requested a happy birthday shout-out to his sister, Molly Tampon Jesus.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Take advantage of Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's HVAC Black Friday specials and save up to $1,500 on a furnace and AC combo or $1,000 on a new boiler. Check out the hottest deals in town all through November at standardheating.com.